Hello, Voyager, and thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Beyond the Lightless Shores. A lot of effort goes into recording and producing these playthroughs, so if you enjoyed today's story, I encourage you to follow us on Podbean or Spotify, where this podcast is currently available for free. If you enjoy this content, please tell a friend about us and help our little channel grow. Without further ado, enjoy our first episode as we dare to venture beyond the lightless shores. Hello, everybody. So, welcome to Beyond the Lightless Shores. This is the very first time I've ever taken one of my role-playing TTRPG sessions and made a podcast out of it, but I'm really excited to do so. Hi, my name is Christian Stewart. I'm going to be y'all's DM. Let's go ahead and start off with, just anyone in any order. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and say a little something about the character you'll be playing tonight. So let's start with you, Gabe. Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, that works. Okay, so the name's Gabe. I'm playing Barry-like right now.
Very cool, Gabe. What class is Barry-like? In Stars Without Number, there is 3 main classes that you can sort of mix into multi-classes. We've got experts, warriors, and psychics. So what class are you playing?
I'm currently playing an expert, kind of very focused on like techie stuff, I guess.
Very cool, very cool. Our regional hacker, Joshua. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your character. Don't have to get into super details. I know you're kind of wanting to kind of be a little secretive, but just tell us who you're playing.
Hello, my name is Joshua, Never Josh. I'm playing. In this session, my character's name is Elric. He is a straightforward man who handles his business by himself for the most part, and not very quick to trust. Mysterious.
I think he's wanting to keep his class a secret. We've sort of talked out of the session before the game started, so he said he kind of wants that to be a surprise. Go ahead and Matthew, introduce who you're playing.
Hello, I am Matthew. I'll be playing Franny or Fran Belmont. She is probably unbeknownst to most of the party, a psychic. For now, we'll keep that kind of a secret from the actual characters in the game.
So much lying to each other already, right out the gate. Okay, Lansing, go ahead and tell us about your character. Zach, sorry.
Hey everybody, no worries.
That's going to happen a lot.
The illustrious Lansing Greer, the high-flying, hotshot pilot of the group. I am an expert, and he believes himself to be an expert in everything, really. But he's just going to be kind of our ship's captain, general gearhead, and engineer, so...
Very cool.
Happy to be here. Well,
it sounds like we have a well-rounded crew. Unfortunately, we have another Josh, as well as another player who is sitting out tonight. Joshua DeGrew couldn't make it. He is our warrior. So I hope you guys don't run into combat. Otherwise, you're kind of fucked. This system is notoriously deadly. So we'll see how our first episode pans out. All right. So to kind of set the stage, welcome to Mazaalai. Mazaalai is a very cold, inhospitable planet that was colonized by another starfaring system named Asmova. Back about 220 years ago, they fought for their freedom in sort of a passive rebellion, and were granted it from the system of Asmova. Since Asmova stepped down, there was sort of a power change in Asmova, a more warlike sect. There's sort of 3 main sects to their religion there, and there was sort of a change of power. The more warlike sect stepped down, and the more peaceful sect stepped in. When that happened, it created a power vacuum in Mazaalai, and an oppressive government stepped right into place. Sensa, as they are known by the Sand Rats and all those around. Sensa is essentially, it's a police state that they have. They have essentially seized all of control of the country's, of the system's agricultural product. Because it is a frozen wasteland of a planet, there is only a very small margin of arable land that produces crops. and food for the people. This area is known as the Green Ring, and it is heavily controlled by the CNSA or Sensa. Basically, they have made controlling the food a way to control the people. They have special organizations. All of the farming is subsidized, and they have specialist units that essentially hunt down illegal farms and burn them down. Now, naturally, when there is an incredibly authoritarian government in place, people tend to rebel. And that brings us to the Sand Rats. The Sand Rats are a group of essentially libertarians that oppose big government and live to the wastes, both to the north and south of the equator, or the Green Ring, which is essentially the one spot in Mazaalai that gets hot enough to be able to grow anything, and the one place on the planet where water can exist in liquid form. These farmers basically produce food illegally via hydroponic farms beneath the sands. Mazaalai has an active geothermal core, and there's enough heat by digging down deep to produce the life-sustaining energy needed to grow plants hydroponically. It's not the tastiest, but it does the job. We cut to Franny Belmont, who recently was recruited from the Northern Rats, the more militaristic of the two groups. She's from the Southern Rats herself, the smaller group of outlaws and freedom fighters from the South. She was called to essentially serve as a healer on a dangerous mission to do a smash and grab and get some satellite information that the Sand Rats basically hope that they can appeal to some of the greater interstellar governments and try to get some help freeing their nation, because they are in a stranglehold by Sensa and they need some heavier guns on the scene. So they're hoping to be able to convince other governments, whether it's Asmova or Remus, two big superpowers in the sector, to step in and help free the people of Mazaalai. And the way that they intend to do this is using climatological, I don't know if that's the right word, meteorological evidence taken from climate satellites to show that Mazaalai is warming up, and to show that it is arable and a promising investment to any of the sector's superpowers. So we cut to you making your escape from one of the outpost towns towards the north and into the northern deserts. So Franny, you and your group were picked up by a sand shark, which is essentially a warthog, like in my mind's eye from Halo, if you guys know. They picked up your crew, the infiltration team that was responsible for stealing this information. The mission didn't go off super well. There were pictures taken of you guys, and you seem to have left behind sort of a smoking trail that is slowly being followed by Sensa. But as you guys rip away through the sandy dunes and make your way towards the hideout of the Northern Rats, Asadak is the name of the city. As you make your way towards Asadak, hidden in the northern wastes, you're basically able to sort of reconnoiter, catch your breath, and think about how the mission went over. As you look to the front, you see a familiar face, or somebody you've heard of. At least you've seen his picture before. His name is Commander Sulk. He's the one who's currently driving the Sand Shark, and he's just sort of asking you questions about the mission as you drive the Sand Shark over the rolling dunes. He calls back to you over his shoulder. So I heard you secured what you needed?
Yes, we were successful in that at least.
So Sulk kind of looks back at you. Do you really think that we can convince some of the other sector powers to join us in our fight with the information you guys secured?
With enough diplomacy, for sure. And I should be able to handle that. No problem.
I think this is a bad idea, he says, sort of shaking his head.
Well, we have to try something. We can't just keep doing this. We'll never get anywhere.
I think it's a bad idea to try to get Asmova involved. They're just going to want to take back Mazaalai and reclaim it as a colony of theirs. I told Avenzai, it just smells bad to me.
Is there another group you prefer us talk to?
Well, I mean, I think that Mazalai's freedom should be left in the hands of the Mazalians, but what the hell do I know? I'm just driving the car. So during this silence, yeah, you kind of sit in the back of the sand shark. There's a couple other soldiers just kind of keeping watch, but it's basically a pretty quiet ride back. Commander Sulk is known to be, well, he got the name Sulk for a reason. He's sort of a grumpy dude, short cropped, kind of sandy brown hair, and just like a hard jawline. And usually his face is sort of in a scowl. Not a very pleasant dude. As you guys make it back to Asadak, sort of the city underground of the Northern Rats, you see little antennas sort of sticking up out of the sands as you coast over the dunes that mark kind of the communication arrays of different little towns, little shanty towns, and private boroughs that all sort of are interlinked in a central nexus that is Asadak. As you go across the sand dunes, you see a couple different sites. You see like what seems to be like AA guns, anti-aircraft guns that are sort of poised in a ready position. And in the south, Franny, you would know there's nothing like this sort of this military defensive installation. Nothing like this kind of hardware that you're seeing towards the north. So it immediately impresses you. You sort of look at the other soldiers who are in the sand shark with you, and you notice how heavily armed they are, and like how up to snuff technologically their weapon looks. And you get the sense that it's sort of a different operation here in the north.
I feel quite protected here.
So, as we make our way to Asadak, as you come up on one particular sand dune, you see how there's the face of it that the part of it looks like just a normal sand dune, but you notice that the face of it looks pretty naked, and it seems like there's like a thin layer of sand overlaying like a big metallic sheet, essentially. As Sulk reaches up into his head comms and says, "Open the gates," and you watch as slowly sand cascading down the top of this metal roof, it begins to open up into a mouth into the ground, and the sand shark drives straight into the sand dune and underneath the ground. You hear the hydraulic sounds as the opening, essentially the giant garage door behind you closes, and for a moment you are sort of in at this dark space. You hear a doom, doom as two floodlights come on. You see that you are essentially in an elevator shaft, and you feel a sudden jolt as the sand shark begins to lower beneath you and suddenly drops about a foot before the steady elevation change becomes consistent, and you begin just watching like floor after floor of elevator shaft like disappear into the blackness above as you are being carried deep beneath the ground. After a while, the elevator stops after you've traversed, who knows how many meters underneath the ground, but deeply. Sulk kind of starts up the engine again, and begins driving down a little road that opens up into a giant underground area that you sort of see this like city going on beneath the ground. There's fluorescent lights that sort of light, soft lights that are easy on the eyes that sort of like light up the streets and the different shops that exist down here in this metallic vault. But again, much bigger than what you're used to in the south. I would say that Sulk kind of like senses your silence and is like, your first time in Asadak, eh?
Well, yes, you guys have much more space here than we do in the south, but I guess that's fair, considering your operations.
Well, I just hope you can make yourself comfy here. It's gonna be hard to get back to the south. I suppose Sensa probably has your pictures, and traversing through the Green Ring is probably a death sentence for you at this point. So, welcome home, I guess.
Thank you. As long as my parents are safe, I'll be fine here.
We have contacts with with our southern brothers. I could talk to Avenza and probably try to patch you in if you want to talk to them.
Well, sure.
All right. Well, first we probably should get this information to Avenza. She said it was of highest importance. Apparently there's some doctor who thinks that she can find our salvation with it. So he begins driving down sort of an access road and into that sort of leads to what is very clearly like a military bunker. As he drives the car inside, he ends up sort of parking it, getting out, motions for you to do the same, as another soldier takes the car and goes and brings it to a vehicle storage garage. He sort of, maintaining his soldier's presence at all times, has his men sort of come down and follow you in file, and says, "All right, let's go get this information to Avenza," and begins sort of marching briskly towards the main entrance to the building.
I grab the briefcase and follow quickly behind.
Yeah, so you walk through an impressive collection of vehicles. You see a couple choppers and dozens of other sand sharks, just sort of some even outfitted with heavy guns. Just, again, magnitudes of greater force here than you would experience in the South. But it seems like they could amass a pretty impressive strike force if they need to. As you walk through this garage, Sulk leads you through the door, and you enter into some more winding halls. He kind of brings you through the base. You guys walk for about 15 minutes, taking sharp corners. Very confusing layout in here, which is sort of on purpose. If ever there's a breach, ever a security breach, ever anybody in this barricades who doesn't belong here, easy to get lost. So Sulk eventually brings you to sort of an official looking office. There's a lady at the front desk. He looks up and says, "Tell Avenza that we got it." She pages in, and before you know it, a door is swinging open, and he is marching you into the office of Avenza the Maven, essentially the military leader of the Sand Rats. The Sand Rats don't have a very organized or centralized government, but what they do have is a very strong military force, and a strong military force needs a strong leader, and that is Avenza. You would have probably heard about her before, Franny. If you want to roll a history check, I'll let you.
Is that going to be
That would be a no. Sorry, I'm so used to D&D.
intelligence? No. Intelligence?
Yeah,
probably?
intelligence, no. And are you proficient in it? Do you have a 0 proficiency?
I have 0 in.
Okay, so you don't roll at advantage. Or you don't roll at disadvantage. You don't have any negative modifiers.
12, 13, 12.
Are you kidding me? 13?
I think I rolled a 12. 6 and a 5 plus 1, so 13.
Shit, that's a huge
Okay,
roll.
11, 12.
First of all, shout out, first roll of the game. So you would
Heck
know immediately, Avenza is a living legend among the Sand Rats. She infiltrated into the ranks of the Red Lyre Military Academy at a very early age. She and a group of other young Sand Rats with strong ambitions to overthrow Sensa essentially left the northern wastes, left Asadok, went in and enlisted, and basically were deep infiltration sleeper soldiers who held rank and position for a number of years before violently revolting and escaping with just tons and tons of information stolen from reaching a point of rank in Sensa. And it's been the biggest blow that has ever been dealt to Sensa, and it has kept them on guard for years against the Sand Rats. That's kind of when they started taking you seriously. But you know that she held a place of command in their army, essentially in their military, and used it to deal a devastating blow to them when the time was right. So you see her standing before you, very intimidating figure. You see her black hair is pulled up in sort of a high official bun. She has on an officer coat with multiple different accolades and medals, just sort of showing her rank. And she just has the look of just clearly a killer. Just the world is a hard, cold place. She has icy, steely, icy eyes, just sort of hold yours with an authority and a sort of weighing your character that just feels oppressive. You can sort of feel the weight of it on your shoulders as she looks at you. Very intimidating figure. She looks at you and says, "Did you get it?"
Yes, we are quite successful in our mission, at least in getting the information.
And Who are you? I have not seen your face before.
I'm Fran Belmont, and I do whatever our terms of respect is. Bow.
Yeah, just be
salute,
like
whatever it is.
a bow.
Like a slight bow.
Ah,
Entry-level medical combat expert.
you are the psionic from the Southern Rats, are you not?
Yes, I am. I'm also that.
I have heard that you are very skilled. Healer.
I try my best. That's all anyone can ask for, right?
Well, your best, it seems, was suitable to our needs today. I appreciate you for
I'm also.
Yes?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm also quite the diplomat. Communications is really my preferred profession. Healing comes along with the side of that.
Well, you have a silver tongue, then.
In some respects, yes.
I hope you can put it to use. We're going to need a lot of convincing if we want a prayer of success in trying to call out to the other powers for aid.
I hope to.
Do you have any interest in leaving the system?
Well, I hadn't thought about it too much.
Well, you might
Didn't
want
think
to
it was
start
possible.
thinking about it a little bit more.
Oh, I didn't know we could.
Let's have a talk with this Dr. Nedelev. I don't know if you've heard of her or not, but she's a recent defector from the Green Ring. She's a climatologist, the one who first gave us the intelligence that you used today to grab this satellite information. She knew who would have it. And she understands its usefulness. Would you like to meet
Either
her?
way. Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, you will. She looks to Sulk and says, let's go talk to Dr. Nedelev. And with that, you guys all leave the office, make your way through another series of twisting and turning hallways that really just kind of make your head spin, Franny. And you end up taking another elevator down to a lower level of the city before eventually you're brought to this room that is, it's quite nicely outfitted, quite comfortable accommodations. There's a carpeted floor. The lighting in here is pretty soft, but it just kind of has a smell, like the roomy smell of like a nice hotel. You know, you immediately sort of associate it with like an upper degree of comfort. And you see a sign that sort of designates this place as integration quarters. You're not necessarily sure what that means, but the name of this location is the integration quarters. So Avenza, sort of taking the lead, marches up to the door and raps at it twice, knock knock, as she sort of holds her hands behind her back and awaits an answer. She says, Dr. Nedelev, are you present? You hear a woman's voice from the other side of the door. Yes, please come in. And you hear a lock being undone as the door swings open, and you see a mousy-looking woman with glasses on, sort of brown hair, deep brown eyes, much shorter than, sort of an interesting contrast standing in front of Avenza, much smaller disposition, clearly a scientist. Clearly an egghead. Some of them just have the look, you know, some scientists, some nerds just look like nerds. And Patricia Nedelev is definitely not the exception. She holds the door open and says, yes, come in. Sort of nodding. You guys all enter and are brought into these small quarters. You do see there is a table there with 4 different seats. Patricia sort of draws back a couple chairs and motions for you guys to sit down, and you do so. Barry. So you would have noticed this. You, having recently arrived here at about the same time as Patricia did, you guys actually escaped the Green Ring together. Working at the same company, you sort of were able to match vibes and tell that you were both sort of thinking about leaving, and eventually you braved a conversation about leaving the Green Ring. It turns out you were both on the same page, fortunately, and you were able to sort of assist each other in your escape from the Green Ring and the company that you were working at before. But you and Patricia have been sort of kept in this little, it's a little 2-room apartment that is called the Integration Quarters. And basically, Mazaalai, the Sand Rats have an open defector policy. They welcome any defectors from Sensa who are looking to flee over, because it's directly beneficial for them to have that policy in case anybody clever, like somebody with skills such as a hacker or a scientist, care to come over and give them aid. So essentially, that's where you have been living for the last month. You've been undergoing sort of observation to make sure that you're not an agent. Things have been comfortable here in this room and during your stay here in Asadok, but there's been a noted sort of pushing, prodding. The officers that will come and bring you your food are always keeping their eyes on you. They're always watching you. There are cameras everywhere, so much so that it's a little invasive of your privacy. But you understand that it's done so that there aren't any security breaches. You've been sort of asked pretty routine questions to make sure that you're not like a sleeper agent. But you notice all of this kerfuffle at the front door, Dr. Nedalev being kind of called to the front, and you see clearly a woman of very high rank step into the room with a sort of authority and sort of size up the area. She kind of catches you with piercing blue eyes, sort of notes you before stepping down and sitting in one of the chairs that has been pulled out for her by Patricia. You notice all of this happening.
All right.
It's at this point that you also see Franny. Would you guys care to describe kind of what your characters look like, Franny and Barry, for the people listening and for our other players? Sort of give descriptions about what you see in each other.
I haven't really thought of a very great, like, appearance-wise. I guess for now he's just kind of like, he looks to be somewhere in his 20s, very light-skinned.
Probably have a pretty heavy like beard coming in. They haven't given you razor blades or anything, so you haven't been able to shave in like a month.
Not as, I would say probably he doesn't look as ragged as a lot of the people who are around these areas. A little bit like noticeably more, I guess, intact. No like scars or like any sort of sign of wear or like effort.
Doesn't look like those hands have been worn with labor, is what you're trying to say.
No. Yeah, those like his hands are as soft as a baby's. They are. Yeah.
Doesn't even know what a wheelbarrow is.
I'd say he's just at this point he's kind of just like slouching a little bit. He's definitely paying attention to what's going on.
So yeah, as you see these people enter, Franny, go ahead and give us a description of your character.
Franny is a kind of shortish, light brown haired lady. She has a simple cloak on with medical symbols all over it, showing that she's a combat healer, or at least a healer of some kind. She wears a small pouch on her left hip with a little red cross on it, also denoting healing. She has a round face. I'd say she's about 5'4", and has a really excited, kind of frazzled hair look about her. Just looking around all the time, wanting to take in everything around her.
Yeah, these quarters are noticeably like probably some of the nicest you've ever seen. Very well furnished, very clean. Just a level of luxury that the southern rats cannot afford.
You got quite the setup here.
Oh, are you talking to me?
I was trying to.
Yeah, I guess it's a pretty nice setup.
Hi, I'm Fran. How are you today?
About as well as you can be. It's nice to meet you, I guess.
While all this is happening, you sort of hear Avenza begin to talk to Nedelev. She's like, "Okay, well, we have the numbers that you requested." She kind of looks to you, Franny, and is like, "Francis."
Yes. Here you go. And she'll bring forward the briefcase.
You go ahead and open it up.
Oh, we broke the briefcase, didn't we?
We'll go ahead and retcon and say that you guys kept whatever it was intact. You have essentially like the for those of you who don't know, I sort of ran a pre-campaign little test run where they had to essentially do the mission where they got the satellite information and sort of infiltrated the Green Ring. But we'll go ahead and retcon that and say that you guys have it's like a viewing tablet. There's a data slab in there.
Here you go.
As you open up the briefcase and set it on the table, Nedelev reaches out and pushes it and says, and begins to sort of like look at the numbers. You watch as a sequence of numbers that you probably really couldn't get to the bottom of, just having sort of like a cursory knowledge of like atmospheric composition and just very complicated climate stuff, nerd shit. You see as suddenly sort of an intensity flares up in Nedelev's eyes as she's looking over these numbers, and she's like, yes, this is exactly what I remember. I tried to bring some of this information with me, but unfortunately, when Barry and I were making an escape, we got shot at. There was laser fire and it fried my briefcase, but I'm glad that you were able to recover this. This is incredible. There would need to be a little bit more excess water. The ice caps are an option. No. We would need to add some nutrition to the topsoil, and Salt kind of is getting grumpy in the corner as she's nerding out. He's like, get on with it. Anyway, the numbers, they tell a clear story. Anyone who understands climatology could see that. Mazaalai is reaching a critical threshold. With a little help, I could foresee a full water cycle in 20 years. Avenza's sort of just taking this in, silently sort of gauging Nedelev as she's gathering all of this information and sort of processing it. Do you think that you could make a convincing argument that Mazaalai is an investment worth saving? Nedelev sort of pushes up her glasses for a moment and sort of eyes begin sort of darting back and forth, low beneath her glasses as if she's thinking intently. Well, let's see. I mean, if I could put the numbers in that. No. Do you think that you could convince somebody, another climatologist, a science department, that Mazaalai is an investment worth saving? Well, what are you recommending? I think that, she looks over and sort of makes eye contact with Salk from the corner of the room. He's just sort of been standing in the back. I think that now might be a good time to use the Shoko. I think it might be a good time for the Shoko to fly the coop. You see Shulk kind of like is sort of taken aback by sort of the impact of what she's saying. You don't really know. But he sort of like raises his eyes and has shown the first moment of sort of being fazed at all by anything that's happened. He's like, wow, okay, you want to leave Mazaalai? She sort of nods her head. I think that perhaps our Dr. Nedelev here, in assistance with Francis, if you would be willing to go, I think that a lot of good could be done. And perhaps we could get some more pieces on the board over onto our side. And weighed in our favor. Nedelev's eyes sort of go big, and she's like, oh, no, leave the system? Yes, that is what I am implying. Oh, I couldn't. I can't. Not without Barry, at least. She sort of looks off back into the corner at you. I don't know anybody here. He's really the only friend I have here. And I couldn't leave him. He's the only person I've had to talk to for all these months, and, well, you seem lovely, Francis. She sort of looks at you. I don't know that I would feel comfortable leaving without him.
I'd be happy to be your friend.
You notice that she kind of smiles back at you and is like, well, I only have one, so my friends would multiply by a factor of 2. You see Avenza sort of like begins chewing her bottom lip, clearly kind of like annoyed with this. What you're asking is, you realize that you yourself are a bit of a risk. You recently just came here. You defected about what, a month and a half ago, and now I'm sending you on one of our only spike drive compatible ships, and you expect me to allow you to take this other defector with you. Nedelev sort of takes a deep breath and is like, well, I was kind of hoping yes. Avenza seems to kind of chew her lip for a bit at this. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I'll just be kind of like passively watching. Barry's not really someone who's too bent on interrupting other people's conversations or interjecting for any matter usually.
I think Franny's excited, looking between them, enjoying the tension for the moment.
Avenza starts to talk again. She's like, I can't allow it. He is a recent defector. We still haven't gone through the entire integration process with you, let alone him. I can't allow him on a critical mission like that. Nedelev sort of crosses her arms in front of her and says, well then, I won't go. What did you just say? I said I won't go. You don't have any other climatologists. I'm the only one who understands the information and the numbers, so these are my terms. Barry goes with me, or I don't go.
How much do they, like, I've been here for, you said a month?
About a month and a half, yes. You've been...
Yeah, about a month and a half. So how much do they know about who, like, I actually am?
They know exactly what you've told them in interviews. They try not to be, like, the Sand Rats try not to be too pressing, and like try to, because obviously you came here of your own volition, so they're not trying to be hostile. They're not trying to push anything out of you from duress, but they're also trying to get a good understanding of whether or not you are a risk to keep around. So they've been polite, but ultimately are trying to find out if you're a threat or not. And have made it clear that, like, the level of honesty that you bring forth to them is, like, how much they will then trust you.
Alright, well, I think that I probably wouldn't have told them at least my, like, who I actually, like, I would have told them my position, but, like, nothing else really other than that.
Gotcha. He is an excellent programmer, Nedelev says, and could have a lot of use on a mission like this when it comes to dealing with technological matters. Avenza sort of sighs, putting her hands and pinching kind of the bridge of her nose. I don't like this. She looks over to Salk and says, if these are your terms, I will agree to them. But Salk, this means you have to join them as well. I want nobody but my best on this mission to make sure that nothing goes pear-shaped. Salk kind of like opens his mouth like he's gonna protest, and then closes it, and then just nods. Okay, well, great. Now that we have this worked out, the nearest system is Asmova, so I guess you could try there first. This will be a diplomacy mission. Essentially, she points to you, Francis, you are going to be bringing Nedelev. I want you to make sure that nothing happens to her. Try to use a soft approach with the Asmovans. The dove flies high in the roost these days, and they will be more responsive, I believe, to a softer, gentler approach.
Do they have a native tongue I could speak in for them?
The language is the same for the Asmovans and the Mazaalaians. We were once a colony of Asmova girl. Do you not know your history?
Oh, that just slipped my mind for a second. Sorry.
All good. I'm throwing a lot of names at you. So, Avenza sort of like sizing up the group. This is all coming together very quickly. I think, she looks to Sulk. I think that we had better take this opportunity and call him as well. Sulk sort of like rolls his eyes for a second. He's like, but says nothing. If we're going to be launching this mission, I want every angle to be able to gather information and intelligence, and you know he's the best. Sulk sort of like, again, has his eyes say 1,000 words of protest, but he ultimately says nothing. Good. All right. Well, things are in motion. She looks to you, Franny, and says, Francis, I want you, and I want you to follow Sulk. He is going to bring you to a place called the Creeping Devil Tavern. I am going to set things in motion for you guys to take a little trip deeper into the desert. In the meantime, you are going to go with Sulk and enlist some additional help on this mission. She looks over to Barry, who's sitting in the corner. Are you just going to sit there sulking all day? You would get along well with my captain.
I kind of feel like sulking, but if there's something I can help with, I'd be glad to.
Well, boo-hoo, everybody has a sad story. Get off your ass, because apparently Dr. Nedelev sees something in you.
I think Franny will offer you her hand and help you up.
I'll take it.
Come along, this will be fun.
So yeah, as you're picked up off, as she like sort of like picks you up off your feet, you guys begin. Avenza sort of leaves around. She sort of turns on her heel and is like, "All right, I leave it to you, Sulk. Go contact the nobody, and meet around my quarters again about an hour and a half later, and we're going to make a little trip into the desert. It's going to be fun." With that, she leaves the room. There are some men standing in the hallway, sort of salute to her as she leaves, and you are left in the room with Captain Sulk there, sort of standing there, sizing you all up and sort of like processing all of the rules the orders he's just been given.
So I heard we're off to a tavern of some kind?
Yes, there's a contact that Avenza was mentioning. We call him the Nobody. He's done some work for the Sand Rats. An excellent infiltrator. I suppose that Avenza wants to bring him along, because there apparently aren't enough wild cards on this mission already. But essentially, he, yes, is an infiltrator of unparalleled level. We've gotten him to do a lot of snagging information for us. He seems to be able to slip into hard-to-reach places in the sense of hierarchy, and he's very good at what he does. But I guess apparently he's joining this motley crew as well.
I was excited to meet new people.
Well, with this one, kid, you may want to be careful.
I'll have my scowling face on.
You are... He sort of looks at you with like a puzzled look. You are...
I scowl back.
They make them different over in the south, don't they?
That's what makes us special.
Alright, well, try not to stick out too much. This is a bit of a seedy place, and the less attention we draw, the better. Alright, greenies, let's move.
Franny tries desperately to cover up all of her crazy combat signs and symbols.
So, Sulk begins to lead you guys out through you guys take the elevator back up through multiple levels. He brings you out towards a car that's sort of waiting for them. It seems that Avenza has already passed the word along that they would need one. You're amazed by how well-oiled this whole military system works. Seems like communication happens very, very quickly. You guys get into a non-armored military car and end up driving it through. There's not too many streets in the city, but there's a couple main ones that that the few vehicles that are here can take. Most people just move around through the city by foot. There's a couple bicycles and stuff that you pass on the way over, but people kind of make way as this car sort of pushes its way down through a couple different like business districts. You can sort of see people have their shops set out outside right in front of their houses. Sort of the same setup that you would see in the South. A lot of times businesses double as people's homes, as this is essentially like a giant commune where everybody lives together. And you are brought towards this sort of like eating district. You can see sort of like a couple different signs up, neon lights, advertising alcohol. You see a couple of places that are clearly like food joints, restaurants, and you're brought to sort of this like neon district, and you see a sign outside with like a cactus that's like crawling on through the sand a la Looney Tunes style, and looks just like very thirsty, like it's dying for a drink. This like cactus sort of humanoid creature with some eyes and like a frowning face, as like part of its cactus hands are sort of like reaching out to a mug of beer that's also lit up in neon lights that make up the sign. Sort of an interesting creative sign, but you see beneath it in cursive flourish are the words that read "The Creeping Devil Tavern." You sort of move out of the way as a drunk man sort of stumbles out, sort of runs into Sulk, who's in front of you, and is like, hey man, what are you're not coming to shut this place down, are ya? Sulk sort of pushes him off onto you, Franny. He sort of collapses and sort of is like leaning on your shoulder. He's like, Nobody told him about the rats inside, did they? He's not with the food inspectors, is he?
I don't think so, sir.
Okay, good.
You should go take a nap.
The official word is, there's no rats. I can't have them shutting down my favorite place, okay?
Very, very well, sir.
Sort of slumps off of your shoulder and stumbles off into the street. Sort of like blocks the way of a bicycle, guy on a bicycle. He sort of shakes his fist at him. Get the fuck out of the way! And Sulk sort of like looks at the group of you guys and is like, see what we're getting into? I told you this wasn't exactly a stand-up place.
I think I'll take out a black shawl from my bag and just throw it over my head and try to make myself look scarier.
Oh yeah, the shawl is definitely what took you from innocent schoolgirl to a hardened killer.
I'm not even gonna try because I just look so.
He kind of points over to you, Barry. You kind of got the dead, like dark circles under your eyes. Haven't been sleeping well. Just look kind of dead in the eyes. He's like, this guy's got the right idea.
I'm just gonna keep my hands in my pockets. just don't let them see my hands.
He's like, anyway, stick close to me. This group shouldn't be dangerous, but you know, anytime you get a wild bunch liquored up, you know, crazy things can happen. So he ends up leading you through the tavern. It's at this point, I would say that Eric, is that correct? Is it Eric? Elric, sorry, I thought I was missing it auto-corrected in my document to Eric. I was like, I was pretty sure it was Elric, but this is saying Eric. Okay, so you would have gotten a call at this point from one of the comms specialists. You sort of have like a one-way closed radio system that you use with the Sand Rats anytime that they need to contact you for a job. You would have gotten I guess like the bat signal, essentially. The radio version of the bat signal. Except instead of stopping crime, you steal shit. So the inverse of the bat signal in every way possible. You would have gotten a call probably about a half hour ago that they needed you for a job. And you would have come to this place that is your agreed upon meeting place. Table 13 in the back of the Creeping Devil. So you are waiting. You watch as Sulk walks up to one of the bartenders, asks for table 13, sort of like whispers to the bartender. She sort of points into the back. And what does everybody see, Elric?
So, you see a gruff, bearded man hunched over with his arms on the table, not touching his face, with the long brown hair. It's a white man with sallow eyes. That's about what you see. Well, how far are they?
I would say that they're probably like, I don't know, maybe a good 30 feet away. It's kind of a deep dive bar that kind of goes deep into
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah,
from 30 feet,
below
that's what you see.
below the street level. Yeah. So yeah, you're kind of shrouded
One
in.
eye.
Yeah. It's a dingy place where dirty things happen. There's a couple like making out next to you in the booth, in the booth right next to you guys.
You see a man who looks like he fits in here, or he looks kind of just as close as possible to everyone else in here.
Yeah.
Kinda seedy.
Yeah. It's a seedy place. I don't think. Yeah. Right. So there's a couple, they've just been going at it for like the last couple minutes. Like you're sort of getting annoyed. So as you guys are sort of led to this table, Sulk just sort of mentions to you and briskly sort of soldier walks over towards this table, pulls out a chair and sits down. And sort of just hands up on the table, sort of bridges his hands over top of each other, and is just like, so I take it that what have you been told so far?
I've been told I'm waiting for company. Anyone ask for table 13?
Well, yeah, that would be you would so I'll go ahead and say this, Elric.
Is it
you would know Sulk. Sulk has been like your
Oh, is this Sulk sitting here?
Yes, this is Sulk. Yes, you have been in contact with him
okay,
before.
okay.
He's usually
I
the
thought you
guy.
said, I misheard you. I thought you said this was a soldier.
No. He is a soldier. Sulk is a soldier, but he's typically the guy who comes.
Okay,
You've had a couple different people come, but you know Sulk probably the best.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, Commander, you asked for me.
Yeah, it seems that we have. Avenza seems to think that we require your services.
Avanza. Okay. Is this? I look left and look right.
To the right of you, it's just a wall. You're like in a corner.
Yep. I still look.
You see.
And there's no one within like.
You see the pornographic, like inky art, street graffiti style. So yeah, spray painted on the wall that just sort of decorates all of this seedy dive bar.
So I have a reasonable. How loud is it in this bar?
Oh, it's super loud. You guys are pretty well. Like that's part of the strategy of this. Of this little corner is that like while they're blaring, super sci-fi techno EDM music, you guys are basically able to have this conversation in privacy.
Yeah. So I'll say that. Lorenzo, what is she proposing?
She's proposing something that a mission where you would be leaving the system, actually.
A system?
Yeah.
You talking Mazaalai?
We're talking, yes, leaving to Asmova.
To the Asmovans.
You would be compensated. Well, this would be the best paid job yet, but it would essentially be a one-way ticket.
And who would I be working alongside with?
Well,
Will I be doing this alone again?
No, you'll be working with a team this time. I know that's not typically your speed, but it can't be helped. The nature of the mission is one that we can't put all of our eggs in one basket. He sort of would be motioning to you at this point, Franny and Barry, and sort of like motion for you guys to come have a seat. You guys would probably be sort of like hanging back because like Again, that couple is just really going at it. It's uncomfortable to sit over here, but he'd motion you over.
Franny comes and sits down.
I would do the
Hello?
same.
I'm Francis Belmont, combat medic.
He looks you introduced yourself as Franny?
Francis.
Okay, Francis, the combat medic. So I nod and I look over to the other.
I'm just gonna kind of look up. I'm gonna be very, like, you know that look of like a child who's kind of like following around their like mom who's talking to like someone that they know and they're just kind of standing there. That's kind of what I look like right now. Like I'm just kind of along for the ride. I'm just gonna kind of meet his eyes and I'm gonna say, I'm Barry. I guess I'm here as well.
All right. Nod. Francis. Barry. All right. Anybody else?
Yes. He sort of motions to Patrice, who wasn't able to get a seat. She's just sort of been awkwardly standing behind you, Barry, sort of like shifting spaces between Francis and Barry to kind of like see over your shoulders. Again, she's a pretty short woman. But she's like, she raises her hand in the back, sort of pushes up her glasses. Yes, my name is Dr. Patrice Nedelev. I would also be on this mission.
Dr. Nedelev. All right. Anybody else?
Yes, likely. That hasn't been decided. It's also not my decision to choose who goes on this mission, but Avenza is taking care of things. He sort of like looks down at I forget what they call it in Stars Without Number, but it's essentially the equivalent of a cell phone. I think it's called a personal communication device. I can't remember what it's called.
Data slab?
No, data slabs are like tablets. It's like a compad? Data slate? I can't remember what it is. It's some future tech word that's not cell phone. He looks down at his future tech not cell phone.
You could just say cell phone, it works.
Yeah, I guess. And looks up and's like, apparently we're supposed to be taking a little trip after this. I don't know if you all have heard of, well, I suppose you'll have to know now. Have you all heard of the Anvil?
Not too familiar.
Very briefly in training.
All right, what do you know?
Well,
No, it's somewhere north.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, miss. Go ahead.
North in the wastes. Yes, go ahead, Francis.
very secret hushed tones spoke about it. Some secret research facility?
That's essentially the gist of it, yes. But as it's been implied, and until now not openly spoken, we have access to a spike drive craft.
Spike drive craft being a ship, right?
That's correct.
I always wonder why I was being trained on those when we don't have one, supposedly.
Well, if Sensa knew, they might make a more structured offensive act against us here in Asadak. It helps also that we keep the location very well restricted. We will probably have to travel in the back of a truck under some degree of sensory deprivation. Just so that you're all aware of what you're getting into. Nothing personal, just to ensure that you don't know the location.
Sounds fair. When it comes to these three here, do they have files?
Well,
As in, like files on them?
Yes, we have. Two of them are recent comers, recent defectors from the Green Ring. The scientist and the one with the dead eyes over there.
Hopefully after all this, I can be properly briefed on who I'm dealing with, or at least as much as I'm allowed to know.
I mean, nothing's classified. The Nedelev is a scientist. She's a climatologist. Barry here was sort of her condition to come in the first place, so I'm not exactly sure how he fits in. I've heard he kind of looks over at you. What exactly the hell do you do?
Well, I don't really do anything right now.
Well, then why the hell are we having you on this mission? He sort of looks over at Nedelev. Sounds like a waste of a very valuable seat.
I can make myself of use if need be.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be cramped quarters. You know what? Let's just talk about it when we get to the anvil, all right?
Some people have skills that they don't want to talk about, and I can respect that.
Well, unfortunately, with a mission as high profile as this is, I need to know what it is that all of you are capable of. We can talk about it later. I will also be accompanying you on this mission. Avenza has put me personally in charge of it. No matter what my opinions or thoughts on the matter are, it looks like I'm going to be joining you. So, Avenza's telling me, he sort of looks down at his comm pad. Thank you, Matthew, for dropping that in chat, by the way. He looks down at his comm pad and says, looks like she has a car outside, ready to take us there. He looks up to you, Elric. So, are you in? This would be a one-way ticket off planet, but it's never seemed like you have too many ties to this place anyway.
My ties were gone a long time ago.
Well, if you have any goodbyes to make, today would be the day to do it.
You're coming with me, so I don't.
Am I really the closest contact you have?
I have a short list on my compad.
All right. Okay, well, let's go get in the car. Oh yeah, Sulk leads you out the back of this dive bar, slips a couple credits to one of the bartenders as just like a thank you, a gratuity for maintaining this little spot for them to have these little clandestine meetings. And you guys head up to the surface, the entrance of the restaurant. You see the drunk dude that was worried about the rats and thought that Sulk was a health inspector is essentially slumped in the corner, just drunkenly sawing logs. You guys see a sort of like an unmarked military vehicle come up, sort of stop, and Sulk motions for you guys to get in. They open up the back, you're closed in, and the car begins taking off. On your trip out, you do, so a couple things. When you enter, it's very dark in here. There are no windows. There's no way to look out the back of this truck. And you immediately begin to feel sort of like a static garble. I would say, Franny, you would probably be most in tune with it, being a psychic. But there seems to be some sort of like a dampening field, some sort of a dampening effect that slightly taps into metadimensional space. It just sort of garbles your words, and sort of like everything just feels a little fuzzy in here. And you notice that as you're talking and trying to speak to each other, the sounds come out almost garbled. And it's some sort of like sensory dampening electrical wave, some sort of like audio. You're not sure if it's audio or if it has something to do on the electromagnetic spectrum, but it's messing with your ability to perceive things accurately. So as you feel, but you do feel the vehicle begin to shift forward, Sulk kind of looks up at you guys and says, it's going to be about a 3-hour trip into the desert, so get comfy. The seats are notably not comfy. Essentially just steel benches in the back of this truck.
We're heading currently to a military base called the Anvil, correct?
Yes, that's
how I
right.
understand it currently.
Mm-hmm. Ding ding.
All right. Elric will ask Sulk how closely will I be working with these people?
The Shoko cabin doesn't really have a lot of space in it, unfortunately. It holds 6, and if you've been keeping track, we can only really hold 1 more. I know that my sister is going to be on board the ship, so things are going to be cramped for a little bit. It's going to be close quarters. But once we land in Esmova, my plan is to break away from the group. I have business elsewhere.
Will you be informing us about what business you got?
Of course, I think it's mostly Avenza's call at this point. She'll brief you in greater detail on the mission, but just know that we may need your services, your ability to infiltrate and steal documents. We might need help getting sort of the drop on what Asimov is capable of. He sort of points to Franny. He's like, she's going to do the talking when it's information that Asimov is upfront about, and you're going to do the infiltrating when there's something that they're holding back from us.
Everybody got a little bit something to hide. And you see my face shift to a younger expression and also a cleaner cut face with shorter hair. I as well. It's just another face.
Wait,
And
what?
another
You like the entire appearance kind of changes?
So go ahead and why don't you roll me a notice check, Barry?
There we go.
Alrighty, so this is gonna be my first time rolling.
Yeah.
So we roll with D6s, right?
2d6s.
2d6s,
And
and
then-
this would be in intelligence.
I
modifier?
would say that you would add, yes, I would say that you add your wisdom to it, actually. I would say that you would add your wisdom to this roll.
Wisdom.
What is your
I know that
wisdom
there's a
mod?
bunch of stuff where like you usually like you can add like the greater of two things, but let's see. My wisdom is 0, so that is going to
What
be
is your
a
notice
10.
skill?
My notice skill, is that a thing that you can like? Let's
You would just
see.
look on your character sheet.
It's -1, so
Okay,
that
gotcha.
would be 9 then.
9. I would say that you've picked up enough on close inspection of Elric, this fellow, this seedy fellow that you've run into, that you can tell that there's something that isn't like right about his skin. You see it like occasionally, it'll like shift. Like the whole perspective will seem to shift as if his face is like in a video game sort of like glitching, and it'll occasionally happen. There will be an occasional like line of white that'll just like run across his face as if something isn't like quite loading properly. But other than that, yeah, the dude seems to be able to change his fucking face, so that's notable.
That's pretty cool. I don't say that in character. That's just me. That's just me saying. That's pretty cool.
It's dark in here, right?
Yes, it is pretty dark in here. So the effect would be even, it would look even more believable, essentially. Dude just changed his face. It's pretty dark in here. You notice that there are like LED, like just like blue LED lights that sort of cast onto the floor so that you can see the floor in front of you, but not much of the interior of this vehicle is lit up, just basically the floor. The cabin sort of like is just very dark.
My character's gonna kind of like, after seeing this, is going to have a very confused kind of look on his face. He's gonna be kind of like looking around like he thinks he's crazy.
On the ride over, you feel Netelev bump you, Barry. She's like, "Hey, I'm sorry I'm pulling you into this. I didn't feel comfortable going alone."
It's fine. Really, I just want to get out of here. I don't want to stay in this place any longer.
Well, from our conversations, I kind of thought that that's where you were, so I thought it would be good for you.
I'm sure I can make good use of my abilities, I guess.
So as you guys feel the vehicle shift, if you have no other conversations to have for the next 3 hours, you guys are essentially and what starts off as like, Franny, you felt like high tension and like sort of a feeling of excitement. It begins to kind of go stale on this trip. just the back of this vehicle is starting to get hot with all these bodies in the back. Sulk is getting increasingly more agitated just at the whole situation. And you all are feeling a little bit raw by the time you finally show up.
I think Franny will start reading and reviewing her medical terms.
Gotcha. It's really hard to do with the shitty lighting in here. Um, so when you guys finally arrive, it is a breath of fresh air. When the back of the truck opens up, it is probably evening at this point. The sun is beginning to sink lower and lower into the sky. But it is a breath of fresh air. Seems like blinding light by comparison to this dark interior. As you step out into the evening sky. Step out into the evening, underneath the evening sky, into the frigid sands of Mazaalai. You all have to secure pressure masks onto your face because the atmosphere here is very thin. Those are things that I just assume you have. Even if you don't have them on your character, I'll say that you all have them because Mazaalai's atmosphere is not very, very good.
All right.
But you guys step out, you see this just like giant dome that seems to be like covered in like this black material. Kind of looks like a little bit like Kevlar that just totally covers this like turtle shell dome that sticks out in the middle of the desert. And as you get out, Sulk's sort of stretching. Another vehicle pulls up alongside, and Avenza gets out and says, "Welcome to the Anvil."
Quite the ways out here, huh?
Yes.
It was quite the stressful ride.
Well, sorry for the precautions that needed to be taken. I hope you will understand it is in the best interests of your country that this place remain a secret.
Who are we meeting here?
Well, he should be flying overhead in about the next 5 minutes if my information is good. They're practicing a test flight today. Standard drill run. And it's about that time that in the sky, as Avenza calculated, I would say you sort of like see the metallic glint of a vehicle on the horizon. And it very, very rapidly begins to grow larger and larger and larger until you see the outline of this sort of like retro kind of bulky freighter class free merchant ship. So much bigger than a fighter, sort of boxy in build, sort of retro, clearly very piecemeal, sort of slapped together with different sort of like metals and like you can see different alloys sort of gleaming in the sun. It's not one uniform piece, it's sort of a ragtag piece of bolts, but it is flying very quickly, and you hear it as it roars overhead. It flies overhead, sort of does a maneuver before flying back around and disappearing into the sky behind. Avenza, she reaches up to some comms on her head, pushes a button on the receiver, and pulls the headset off and says, "That was a very good show, Lansing. How's she handling today?"
Like a summer's dream. I tell you, I wouldn't have thought a scrapyard dog like this could fly so well, but... well, y'all make a good bird.
You hear in the background another voice behind Lansing. "I make a good bird."
Yes, Lana, you make a wonderful bird. Pretty bird, good job. You want a cracker?
You hear just like a hiss in the background. Sulk sort of is like looking up in the sky as in wonder, sort of as this craft disappears into the horizon. It's like, I didn't know we had anything that could fly like that. Lana answers, "Oh, this thing flies itself."
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead and take the credit away from the freaking pilot, why don't you? This thing flies like a dream. Yeah, it's a great piece of tech, but it's nothing without me behind the wheel.
Uh-huh, yeah, the engineer is the one who flies the ship. We just keep you around because you're a pretty face, Lansing.
Don't forget it.
So as you see the ship disappear into the distance, Avenza sort of looks down with like a little bit of like a smirk in her face. She's like, that's what we've been working on. And yes, it is the spike drive compatible ship I've been talking about so far. If you would like to have a closer look at it, downstairs, Lansing is going to put her down and we can go take a look. So you go ahead and watch as the ship makes another turn, and Lansing expertly, well, with a little bit of showmanship, I would say, you probably have the back end of the Shoko to swing around and kick up a little bit of a sandstorm as it lands approximately on top of the black dome. You watch as, like a lotus blossom in reverse, the black dome begins to open up so that it like encapsulates, and you notice beneath it, it's a landing space. As this vehicle, this free merchant, lands on top of it. Avenza motions for you guys to get on top of this newly exposed platform. And as you guys climb onto, you hear the sounds of the engines beginning to turn down and slowly wind down as Lansing shuts down the systems and begins to descend from the cockpit, exiting through the port side exit of the ship.
Nothing like the wind in your hair. So, this is the band I'll be taking with me then?
Yes, on short notice, this is the group that you will be escorting to Esmova. Go ahead and describe your character, Lansing. What do the players see?
All right. So Lansing has kind of like he's, if you would take kind of the most average dude's body and then slap a combination of Chris Pine and Nathan Fillion's head on.
I love it.
So he's got a little bit of the resting smug asshole face. And as he's kind of walks out of the ship, just kind of a standard flight suit, he throws his arms wide and he goes, "Well, welcome everybody to the prettiest bus you'll ever lay eyes on." Where are we heading?
You see, as following behind him, is a like a shorter, looks like a teenage girl with like really short cropped, fiery red hair, a couple of like studded earrings, and just like she's sort of walking interestingly, like sort of like favoring, seeming to you can't tell what it is, but she seems to kind of like walk funny as she follows him out of the vehicle. She's got like one of those like bars that comes down into like another chain beneath one of her earlobes, and a couple piercings in the eyebrows. Just like, and she also, as she steps out, she pulls out a cigarette and begins lighting it up, takes a big breath of it, and comes down to greet you guys with Lansing as well. Sulk immediately snaps at her. "What did I tell you about smoking those damn things?"
Lore check, is that nicotine sourced from the actual farms, or is that an illegal crop?
Oh, that's super illegal. Oh yeah, super illegal in the Green Ring. They wouldn't ever waste arable land to grow something so frivolous. As you begin, as Lana senses that you're like looking at her spliff, she like sort of holds it out to you. She's like, "Hey, you want the puff? Dead eyes. Hey, you want a hit?"
I think I'm good.
She shrugs. "Yeah, more for me."
You know those are quite bad for you, right?
You see Sulk kind of like step up and slap it out of her hand. She's like, "Hey!" He puts a boot on top of it and stuffs it out. She's like, "You are such a bastard."
See, Lana, I told you, the boss doesn't want you using any of those death sticks, and I won't have them in my cockpit.
Well, you never said anything about my room.
Just fine.
Look, girl's gotta smoke.
It doesn't impact your life support.
Avenza sort of clears her throat. She's like, Lana sort of like perfunctorily like goes into a salute. She's like, yes, Lady Avenza. Welcome to the Anvil. My name is Lana Norin. It seems that you've already met my brother. She points towards Sulk.
Far less of an irritable chimney, if you want my opinion.
He really doesn't have much of an expression at all. I mean,
to be fair, a rock has a bit more pleasant countenance than you on bad days, Lana.
But like, look at him. He's got not. My brother's sort of dead behind the eyes. Like this one. She points over to Barry. Are we taking 2 zombies over to Asimov?
Holy shit, he does. Hey, what are they cloning you guys now?
Did you just?
Right. I'm sure we got.
Did you just say that to Sulk?
Yes.
Sulk like raises an eyebrow at you and's like, "I would be careful how you talk to me, pilot. I'm gonna be your commanding officer."
Right. Sorry, Sad Eyes. Boss, Sad Eyes.
Lana kind of kicks you in the shin. She's like, "Okay, it's cool when I do it, but like you're not related, so you need to back off." My brother could like totally kick your ass.
Sure.
Um,
Can't fly the ship though.
Avenza sort of cuts in. She's like, "Children, enough of the bickering. You're really good foot forward." And as you guys get onto the platform and begin descending, she's like, "Anyway, this is the Shoko 2. That's the model name that we came up with for it. It was designed by Roden Norin, Lana's father. Essentially, we were able to take the spike drive of a downed enemy Ganymede, and we were able to reverse engineer it. Yes, this should work to be able to get you off planet. Any questions?" Now, you have noticed that the dome is beginning to reform above you guys as you're standing on this platform, and you're essentially taking a giant elevator down into yet another stronghold under the earth.
And will we have specific roles on the ship, or are we just taking a ride?
Your role will be assigned to you as is deemed fit by my commander, Hector here. She points over to Sulk. It's very, very rare that anybody ever uses his name. Everybody just refers to him by his code name. But his full name is Hector Norin. Whatever Commander Norin deems best for you is what you will be doing. He will be commanding the expedition. I want you to follow his orders unquestioningly. She sort of looks towards Lana and Lansing. She sort of directs her comment towards you guys.
Lansing just puts on this exaggerated salute and goes, "Yes, ma'am. We will fly to the orders of Grumpy Sadface as you command, ma'am."
She sort of pierces you with like icy eyes. That's like you're like walking on thin ice here.
Elric will look towards Sulk and say, "Which do you prefer, Sulk or Hector, Commander?"
He sort of like raises his eyebrows, like nobody's ever thought to ask him this before. He's like, Sulk is fine. It's what everyone calls me. Sort of like looks at you with like a renewed kind of like, wow, didn't see that coming.
Professional about anything.
Yeah, appreciates the professionalism. You see a little bit more regard in his eyes towards you for that. As you guys are brought down into this hangar, this underground hangar, you see you see some of the chassis of other free merchants that are in the process of being built and welded together. You see different parts, pieces of aeronautic equipment, an engine set up on blocks that has clearly been going through some testing. You see workers kind of going to and fro, moving pieces around with heavy machinery and forklifts. Sparks sort of flying around, somebody in a corner testing out like a thermal pistol. Upon firing, like melts a target into essentially molten lead. And as you guys get out, Avenza's like, "Welcome to the armory." Welcome to... I'm messing up my own words. Welcome, the words that I created. Welcome to the Anvil.
It's quite an impressive place here.
Officially...
I think I have a lot to learn.
I like that attitude, Francis. Officially, this place doesn't exist. So, you would do well not to mention its existence at all. To do so is treason.
For this to exist, I hear, is also treason against the CNSA.
She kind of smirks and says, "Well, if any of us had a problem with that, we wouldn't be here, now would we?"
Affirmative.
Anyway, is everything up to snuff on the Shoko 2 that you can take it for a spike drill? And Lansing, you would know it is not. In the last accident that you guys had, your engine malfunction essentially caused a short circuit that fried your rudder. So now you have the options of doing a spike drill rudderless, which is super fucking dangerous, or you can tell your official that you don't have a working rudder.
Well, yeah, I think we can pull it off.
Shut up, Lansing.
Come on,
we have
Lana, it'll be fine.
We have a fried rudder. There's no way. Hell no. I'm not doing a spike drill with Mario Andretti behind the controls. If we're doing it without a rudder, hell no.
You're not the one landing it.
Yeah, but I'm the one who's on board.
Oh, please.
I'm the one who...
If we're gonna use old school terminology, I'd at least take Luigi.
I'm the one who has to... That Mario Andretti's a racer, Zach.
I know.
Oh boy, that just broke all kinds of fourth walls.
The point is Lansing got it wrong.
I guess he's... Yeah, you know Mario Andretti, the famous speed bike racer on Mazaalai. Famous Mazaalai speed bike racer. You remember that little incident the last time that we took a trip to Hixus and back? Well, it turns out we ran into a patch of metadimensional space that was a little bit rough. Lansing gunned the engines a little bit too much to try to pull out of it, and it ended up burning out the whole craft.
Hey, almost worked is only a problem when it turns from success to near success.
Yeah, well, it was a fucking problem because we were just sort of drifting out in the middle of nowhere, and I had to, it wasn't until I got the engine running again that we were able to make it back home.
Yes, you're a charmer and a wonderful mechanic. We would be dead without you.
You most certainly would be. We were out there for 6 days.
I remember.
If I have to eat one more can of Navy beans, I'm going to blow my brains out.
Don't do me any favors.
Anyway, long story short, Avenza, sir, we don't have a rudder. And to make a spike drill without a rudder is incredibly dangerous. Especially when your pilot's a maniac.
Guild maniac, thank you.
You still a maniac. Anyway, yes, the rudder, it's an issue. We don't happen to have any other rudders laying around, would we? Avenza sort of says. And Lana sort of shrugs. She's like, unfortunately not. We, as, you know, hindsight's 20/20. I guess we should have saved the database of the 2 drills that we had done when we had mapped out the course over to Hixus, but we didn't. We had no backups. So here we are, rudderless.
Barry is going to be very, like, a little bit more intently focused on this conversation.
Gotcha. Are you adding anything to it?
I'm trying to think. I'm still trying to kind of think of what my character is like personality-wise, but so far he's not really the type to interject too much.
Avenza sort of begins chewing her lip again, as you've seen her do a couple times now when she's thinking.
My character might just like literally like wordlessly kind of go see what's up with the. Is it something that's external? Is this an external thing that I can just like visibly look at and see what's wrong with it?
You would probably I would assume that you would know enough to know, at least in theory, what a rudder is. A rudder is essentially a digital map that that is like a mapped out region of metadimensional space that sort of essentially tells the pilot which course to take through metadimensional space to try to get where they're going to. Much as with 40K's The Warp, it's a very dangerous place to be, and you don't want to just fuck around in it and just risk taking like a wrong turn and winding up somewhere very, very dangerous. Yeah, there are these
like
maps.
It's like a calculator?
No, a rudder is essentially it's like a virtual map. It's like a digital map that shows. It basically serves as to make the heading for a drive a drill, sure, words, a drill through metadimensional space. Yeah, it's like basically a virtual map, but it's usually contained in like a special like housing box in the ship that the pilot can kind of just turn to and look at, because they basically it's like the GPS of a spike drive. They can basically, in the middle of their drill, they can look over to it and check that they're on course.
All right. I think that Barry might pipe up a little bit. I think he's gonna be like kind of like let's see. You get his voice down again. I happen to know a little bit about how to fix things. If you could let me see it, I could try to make a adjustment.
Lana sort of turns around to you. Lansing, she looks at you. Did you still save the old rudder? The burnt out one? You didn't pitch it, did you? Lansing.
No, I didn't pitch it. Look, just because something's broken doesn't mean it can't be fixed. I may be a pretty face and a damn good pilot, but I'm not wasteful.
Okay, well, where did you put it? The zombie wants to know.
Yeah, I either put it behind my chair or somewhere in the cargo bay.
Well, go find it!
Yeah, I'm on it.
I'm sorry about him. I would like to apologize on behalf of the crew of the Shoko for Lansing's behavior. So as you go into the ship, yeah, you would be able to find it. I'm not gonna, you would be able to find it pretty quickly. It turns out that it was in a pile of other, like, scraps and fried parts that sort of just got cooked when you got stranded in metadimensional space the last time, and you're able to find it on the floor. And it definitely looks cooked. Definitely a lot of blackening. It looks like it's in a pretty rough state, but you don't know. Maybe this guy's some sort of tech wizard.
I'll make a show of pulling it out as I kind of step back down into the landing area and kind of wave it in front of Lana's face. You know, I don't remember it being this blackened before. You didn't use it as an ashtray while we were stranded, did you?
Would you quit it with the smart remarks and just show it to the zombie already?
What can I say? Somebody's got to keep us entertained. Hey, you. Here's what's left of the rudder if you think you can do anything with it.
I'm going to just kind of give it a examination. How is it looking right now, DM?
Oh, it's in bad shape. The thing is friggin' fried. Definitely has seen better days. I would say that if you're trying to get a closer look, I'm trying to remember the skills for this friggin' game. Let me looking at my manual real quick. Skill checks. This would probably be, what would I classify this skill check as? You guys are welcome to cut in and tell me what you think this would classify as. Skill check.
Probably program something.
Yeah, probably program. Is there like an investigate check? I'm thinking D&D.
There's a
That's
fix
mostly
check.
Notice, fix, program.
Oh, definitely fix.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah,
fix.
undoubtedly fix. Yeah, so go ahead and roll me a fix check. It's a pretty damn high DC.
Okay. Let's see.
Could I go over there and attempt to help him?
Do you have
With,
any
D6 on
proficiency?
that?
Do you have any proficiency
I have
with fixing?
notice.
I have
Okay, hold on. What is
proficiency in
a
fix, actually.
Yeah,
I
I'll
have
say.
pretty high intelligence.
Okay, I would say that if you have proficiency in fix, you can go ahead and help him try to open it up. I'll give him. I forget what it is. Is it just a flat +1?
Oh, the fix is actually the help is like you have to roll and beat the check, and then that helps them if you beat the check.
Oh,
So
if
I don't
you
know
beat the
what
check.
you're doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
It gives
if I
them like a
also beat the
+1.
check.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So you guys can both roll. I think they can't get anything better than a +1 in addition to the check, right?
And am I trying to roll fix? I'm not proficient in fix at all. I'm just proficient in notice. That would be my help, is noticing things that are wrong.
Sure. I'm gonna say that you need actual technical knowledge to be able to. This is way over the count. Sure, you could notice something, but unless you know what to notice, like, no help.
Sure.
So I'm gonna say,
Never mind then.
go ahead and I'll say that Lansing, you go ahead and try to help him out. So go ahead and roll 2d6s.
Yeah, all right.
Add your fix or dexterity. So Lansing's gonna roll first, and then you can roll afterwards.
Now, I do have the Tinker foci as well, which says I can double my maintenance score. I'm assuming that would apply here.
Maintenance has this is not maintenance. Maintenance is like maintaining.
Oh, this
mods.
is repair. Yeah, fair
Yes.
enough.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why I got that.
That's
mixed
a
up in
different
my head.
system. What'd you get, Zach?
So with the +1 for my fixed skill, we're looking at a 9.
9? Okay, that is not enough to beat the DC. So he's just going to be rolling it flat. Go ahead and go for it, Gabe.
rolled a 7.
Roll a 7. That is not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you poke and prod at this fried piece of equipment. Whatever happened, you're not exactly sure what happens to electronics when they enter metadimensional space and something goes horribly awry. But this is fried beyond your comprehension. It's the circuits are just all cooked. You can't even get it to display anything.
All right, so it's probably a total replacement then.
Yes, yeah, you wager that there's nothing you can do with this. It's basically a total replacement.
I'm just gonna kind of like, if it's how heavy is this thing?
I'd say it's probably about 2 kilos. It's pretty heavy. It's entirely metal. It's like an entirely metal box, probably the same size as about like a phone.
I'm just gonna kind of like throw it on the ground and say, just nope, this thing's useless.
Hey, I mean it's broken already, but a little bit of respect for our equipment, please.
It's not really equipment any longer. It's more like trash.
Lana begins picking it up. She kind of scoops it up like a mother would a baby and kind of begins cradling it. She's like, "Don't tell it that. You'll hurt its feelings."
Its feelings have been fried by 4,000 degrees Celsius temperatures.
Okay, so, long story short, yes, we are without the router. Avenza sort of like, just looks very, like, put out by this. She's like, ugh. You, Lansing,
Yes, ma'am.
the next time you try to course through metadimensional space, make sure that you make backups of the routers. I don't want this problem occurring again. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
She looks at Lana. Make sure he doesn't forget. Okay, well, now that we have another catastrophe to deal with, I'm going to go make a call and try to figure out something that we can do about this missing router. I think I have an idea, but it's going to be a little bit dangerous.
Dangerous how?
Dangerous in that we're probably going to have to get CQC with some Sensa pilots.
Oh, well, if that's all.
I have an idea. So essentially what we're going to need you to do, Lansing, is take out the Ganymede. There's a couple that fly routine survey sweeps right above the borders of the Green Ring to the north. And it would be dangerous because they also have anti-aircraft guns over there, and the sudden presence of the Shoko would definitely alert them to the fact that we have the ability to leave the system, which is bad. But we could essentially have you dogfight one out of the sky and recover its rudder. That's the thing that comes to mind immediately. If any of you guys have a better plan, I would be happy to know. She looks around. Anyone, go ahead. Don't hold your tongue.
I wish I did.
How specific are these rudders to the ship? Perhaps maybe we can procure one from a shipyard from the CNSA.
All of the shipyards are going to be probably held deep deep within the Green Ring. An infiltration job like that would be very difficult, perhaps even for somebody of your talents.
Elric looks around at all the potential dead weight.
We have another option, but it's going to be perhaps more bloody than dogfighting a Ganymede to the ground would be.
Just a question. Do we have 2 people with a 1 in fix?
I believe you do.
Sounds that way.
You can change those around if you need to later.
That's unoptimized.
Gabe is horny for
Not optimized.
Gabe is super horny for optimization. You guys are welcome to flip things around also. So this game, obviously, the point of it is to have fun. So if you guys aren't enjoying whatever class it is you're playing or whatever abilities you have, we can talk about that outside of the game. But just let me know what you want.
But that also gives you guys the opportunity to help each other for different checks.
It does,
so
yeah.
be optimal in different ways.
True.
Yeah, but then we get boned on like other chicks. I don't
That's
want to
what
get boned on
expertise
chicks.
is about.
We don't know you people.
I want to be God.
Now,
That's
also
his
do
job.
Yeah, then be a DM.
bonk. Bonk. We're not going to be optimal. Bonk.
It's okay. You could always, one of the options is you could always have this character die and you could come back as a more optimal one.
Barry suddenly takes out a plasma pistol.
Blows his fucking brains out. Dark.
Depressed little zombie just says this
Yeah,
isn't
he-
optimal.
he couldn't take it. He couldn't take it.
Couldn't
Someone
take-
else had the same skills as him, but it hurt his ego.
Do you say goodbye to your sister?
There is another option that I can think of. We have somebody on the inside. I suppose I could ask him to sabotage one of the Ganymedes at the planned time, and you would essentially just have to recover the rudder from the wreckage of the Ganymede once it was brought down. But that brings up a whole nother list of issues, of things that may go horribly awry.
Is that your only plant?
I mean, we have multiple plants inside the system, inside Sensa. I'm not able to divulge them all, but we have people on the inside.
I'm not always one for violence, but I know communication's not always an option. We could always deceive them and try to get one shipped to a location and get it from there.
I mean, where would you suggest we get it shipped to? There is no way that sort of technology it's directly under strict control by Sensa. I imagine they wouldn't let something like a rudder leave probably Drana, which you would know Drana is like essentially it's like where their military industrial complex is located.
Yeah, I guess they are pretty intentionally isolated. Just about.
I mean, I'm not trying to shoot down your plan, Francis, but I don't think that we are going to be able to get our hands on something so...
Where would we recover the part? What airspace will they be in?
I mean, so there have been a couple, pretty routinely, Sensa sends their Ganymede fighter jets to fly surveillance circles around the perimeter right outside of the Green Ring, kind of out towards the northern and southern wastes. They tend to fly more protocol routine flights around the north because there's more activity to the north. But we could essentially, with a timed explosive, what I have in mind, we could get one of the Ganymedes to go down while it's making a wide sweep beyond the walls of the Green Ring, and perhaps we could recover the wreckage. But it's going to have to be a mission where speed is utterly paramount in the operation. Sensa's not going to just sit around as one of their fighters comes tumbling out of the sky. I imagine the crash site will become hot rather quickly.
Do they very quickly deal in recovery?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. We've never done something like this before. I don't know what their response time would be. But I could tell my friend on the inside to try to time it as well as he possibly could to make sure that the wreck is closer to us than it is to them when the Ganymede finally comes tumbling out of the sky.
And if we do fight them ourselves, how would the recovery look there? And could we install it immediately, the rudder thing?
My fear is that I don't want them to get eyes on our ship. We've done a very good job when we launched the Shoko 1 of keeping our keeping our noses clean, I guess. Making it so that, as far as we know, Sensa is unaware of the fact that we have space flight available to us.
Oh,
Could we
do
make it
I
look like a rogue?
have I heard anything about a spaceship?
No, you
Okay.
having worked from the inside, you have no idea. You had no clue until today that the sand rats had any capabilities of space flight.
Alrighty.
Could we make it look like some rogue pirate ship came in, destroyed a ship, and send out false signals on the communication network?
I like where you're going with that, but pirates don't often come to Mazaalai. There's not much to take here. The CNSA basically sends out interceptors to take out any foreign ship that doesn't have an approval clearance to come here. Things are strongly controlled. Comings and goings, especially. You would know that only very rarely, like, construction teams from Mazaalai come here to Mazaalai. Construction teams from Asmova come here to Mazaalai, and they're super heavily monitored. Also, the nature of like a spike drill is that you can leave the system from any what's the word I'm looking for? There's like a transition zone, and it's typically at the edge of a solar system that allows you to basically use the gravity of the star to slingshot somewhere else. That's how a spike drive works. And the transition zone is typically at the very end of, like, at the very edges of the solar system. You can't initiate a spike drive until you get to that pivotal place without it being super fucking dangerous. But when you enter a system, you always enter from a pretty predictable place based on where you were coming from. So if I come from like the stellar northeast of Mazaalai, which is where the next system is located, I'm always going to arrive in the same area. So basically, civilizations are able to super reinforce those areas where heavy traffic would be coming through and monitor it to make sure that nothing they don't want entering their system is entering their system. But what you did, Lansing, and Lana, is you guys flew out to Hixus. You guys flew out from, it would have been the stellar southeast towards Hixus. And that is not a place that Mazaalai is used to getting traffic coming in from. So you guys were able to sneak out the back and come back on a test run twice without alerting anybody to your presence.
And we even did it with a busted rudder one time.
Well, it wasn't busted when we left.
Yeah, but we had to make it back.
Okay, shut up. We're problem solving.
Exactly, and we do a great job.
No, we're problem solving now. How are we going to get another runner?
Sounds like shooting down a Ganymede.
With my character's knowledge, would it be possible for me to, like, basically, like, trick the kind of communications between a ship temporarily? Or, like,
to do what? What is
screw
it?
it up?
What is it you'd want to do?
Well, I would either want to, I assume that disconnecting any sort of communications is immediately going to raise some red flags. But, like, if the best solution, I think, would be to basically, like, kind of send out a false okay signal and jam any further communications between, like, a ship and, like, any sort of, like, people who may be watching.
Gotcha. So you would want to, after they shot down one of the Ganymedes, you would essentially want to dampen any sort of distress signal that they would send back to call for backup?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Would that be something that would be possible? 'Cause it's not...
Hell yeah, it would be possible. Yeah, you could figure out how to make a communications dampener.
Okay.
But you don't know, like, it would probably have a certain effective range, and you don't know if you'd be able to get it to them in time for them to not send a distress signal.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the
that
issue.
would just be...
But you can certainly fucking try.
It's at least some sort of, like, preparation. Okay.
The large guns on top, I assume those are also secret of the other location, the big base over there?
Oh, Asadok?
Yeah, we could maybe lure a ship over there and shoot it down from that
Oh, they
platform, and then jam the signals.
They don't come within range of the guns. They know that they're there. They just do sweeps to make sure that we're not crawling around their borders.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if they knew those existed.
Oh no, they know that they're there. But they don't know that this place exists.
It might be possible to stop them from sending a distress signal temporarily, at least.
Go on.
Well, this is kind of my whole job, or at least it was in the past, of kind of intercepting messages and signals. I have quite an extensive understanding of how it intertwines with each other. I think it would be possible to at least intercept a few of the messages, maybe delay the response time of any watching eyes, if...
It's at this point that Sulk sort of clears his throat and is like, well, that's all great, but if we're going to recover this, I assume those pilots are going to come down fighting. So, how many of you have combat experience?
Only the medical side.
Sulk is essentially
Talking
looking to you
ship
guys.
to ship, hand to hand.
Hand to hand.
What are we?
I think it's about time for me to have amnesia and lose all of my fixing capabilities.
You can go ahead and you can modify your character, but later after the episode's
yeah.
over.
I know how to shoot a pistol. I'm not very good at it, but I can at least shoot.
Okay, well that's something. Barry, this device that you create, is it going to require your expertise to operate it, or do you think that we could have some of our operatives use it?
I'd say that it's probably something I'll need to keep an eye on.
Okay, well then, I guess suit up.
Need to
Aye,
reread
Captain.
some of the...
So the plan that we're going with, he looks over to Avenza. You're the one who makes the final call. Are we having Lansing gun down the Ganymede? I suppose that would be all of our cards on the table. Or are we going to have your man on the inside sabotage it? Kind of looks to you as well, Lansing.
If we've got a way to make it all stealthy, like the zombie suggested, then I'm up for that. But for now, my vote's on the Ganymede.
Well, we'll have to bring down a Ganymede regardless, but the question is who's going to be bringing it down? You or our inside operative?
I'd just as soon not put any of our inside operatives at risk. Yes, we're putting the Shoko at risk by doing this, but that's happening regardless. I say let's dogfight.
You just want to put holes in an enemy ship.
And showcase your marvelous engineering as we dodge and weave past all their bullets.
You know, I know you're playing me, but it's kind of working. Avenza sort of looks down and is like, well, you're right, it would be keeping one of our operatives in safe hiding a little bit longer. It might create problems if you try to escape. You'll essentially have to land the ship, put in the drive, and try to make it out of the system as fast as possible, but I'm not opposed to showing our cards at this point. Show the CNSA that they have something to fear. And suddenly, I did not become Russian anymore. Sorry, I lost Avenza's accent.
No worries.
I lost my Russianness. Yeah, Avenza says all of that, but in a Russian accent.
She was so surprised she lost it.
Wow, shit. How did you guys know I've been doing a fake accent?
Well,
I mean,
guess
come
if
on.
you-
Near certainty of death, small chance of success, great pilot, great ship. What are we waiting for?
I would guess only our roles on the ship and who's going where.
Would we have to be on this ship as it dogfighted?
I mean, if you're planning on... The problem is, if we go about this route, if we have Lansing dogfight some Ganymedes down to the ground, they will immediately know that we have aeronautic capabilities, which will mean that we will have to make a quick escape before more Ganymede fighters show up to intercept the Shoko. So, I mean, yes, you will have to be on the ship because you're going to need to make a speedy exit afterwards. So to answer your question, yes, you will have to be on the ship or nearby it enough with the rudder recovery team to be able to get on board and get the fuck out of Dodge.
I think that for the idea that I'm having, I think that, like, hacking isn't exactly the thing that would be, well, it might be depending on how I play this out. But I think it would be more of something where I would have to like almost make something that jams a signal.
Do you think, Barry, do
What?
you think that you could create the jammer from within the Shoko? And do you think that you could create something powerful enough, maybe using the Shoko's communication arrays to be able to jam their communications from the sky?
Reading the rules, I'm not speaking in character right now. Just like reading the rules, like
Uh-huh.
I think it looks very like I don't really see anything about like remote hacking.
This wouldn't be hacking.
Kinda,
This would be engineering something. This would be engineering a device that disrupts communications enough for you to bring them down without them signaling for help.
I'd say realistically for like a mega corporation that has like encrypted lines, I think that my expertise from working within literally a data trafficking
Uh-huh.
like place would definitely help me
For sure it would.
create something of that degree.
For sure it would.
I think I would, but like it's a mega corporation and they're highly monitored ships. It would probably
This wouldn't
take
be
me a
again. This wouldn't be hacking. This would just be you preparing to garble up some communication lines to make sure that the Ganymedes can't call for more help or report on what they see.
well, I think that it would be. I think that for my character, I think it would be something that's definitely possible.
Yep, I agree. I'll let you roll
But
for it if you want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's okay. So, what's this gonna be?
First of all, to get a good idea of how feasible it would be, you would probably have to look at the Shoko's communication systems to see if this is something you could even pull off with their hardware.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'll just take a look then.
Yeah, we do have a comms area if you're trying to do something like that.
Yeah. I need to get an idea of what I'm working with.
So they open up the hatch, the port side hatch, and let you into the Shoko. They show you the comms room. Pretty standard, just communications array stuff. But they do have, like, there is a system already on board, the hardware on board to be able to enable ship-to-ship communication. So you imagine that there is probably something you could do. You could fiddle with it to get it to scramble a signal if you wanted to. But it would take probably a good program check.
All right. I'm willing to make that check.
Go for it.
All right. Let's see. Ooh, that's pretty nice. That's 11.
That was the DC.
Oh, nice.
So it'll take you some time, but you figure that you can probably get it done. It'll probably take you the rest of the day to get it done. But you'll probably have to burn a little bit of midnight oil. But in the morning, you could definitely scramble some comm systems.
Oh, yeah, now I can get even darker bags under my eyes.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's part of the
Alright,
time Francis will watch and try to learn what she can from it.
For sure.
Alright. I'm just gonna kind of turn...
So basically, yeah, you get
to-
that information, you know that you can work with it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that I can work with this.
Wow.
Should be simple enough.
Is there anything that we can bring you? Any resources that you will need? You have the entire anvil at your disposal. Just say what it is that you need, and I will make it happen.
Not exactly sure what, I think that... Let's see.
I mean, you don't have to know. You can
Yeah.
basically just, like, your character knows. You can just start giving them a list of supplies that you need.
Yeah, I was just thinking
yeah.
of if I could make any sort of flavor
You
speech.
could bullshit it.
But yeah, I think we're good.
Gotcha. Well, if you're blanking out on your technobabble improv, I'll throw you a line.
Technobabble improv.
I'll throw you a line and say that you can basically just give them a list for things you need.
Yeah. Super techno man.
Yeah, hacker man. You're gonna hack them back in
Hacker
time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you basically give them a list and you work with them for the rest of the day. Is there anything the rest of you guys want to do to prepare for this mission before you go out.
Will they be supplying us with any weapons in case we have, or in the event that we have to deal with the personnel ourselves?
Well, I mean, this whole place is an armory, so yeah, definitely we can outfit you with
May I take a look at the selection?
Absolutely. Yeah, so essentially you're able to, I'll say pretty much outside of the realm of anything crazy like a Hydra array, or, you know, like thermal pistols, anything like beyond TL4, they probably don't have. But yeah, I'll let you guys outfit yourselves with really whatever weapons you think you'll need.
Where's my railgun?
You know what? I'll go ahead and make it easy for you. I have a list of weapons, of armory weapons that the Shoko has. I'll say that you're able to choose anything from that. And the Shoko is just the name, the model of the ship. Shoko is a burrowing owl, for those of you who don't know. That's just sort of the name I gave it to it. But you guys are welcome to name the ship whatever it is you want to.
Okay. Gotcha.
So here is the armory that came with the ship. And I'll say just for simplicity's sake, you are able to choose anything you want from that.
Barry is not going to go out of his way to pick a weapon.
Okay, so quick question.
Yeah.
I have a laser pistol and monoblade knife in my inventory from when I whipped the character together.
Yes.
Do you want me to just change that out?
Nope, you can still have that. This is additional
Okay.
stuff that you have. If you do anything you didn't get during your character creation, you are able to grab this if you need it. But most of you should have already, especially if you took like equipment packets, you guys should already have weapons and stuff.
Yeah, Francis has her special gun she's gonna keep next to her side.
Tight. How are
I
we
can
doing?
hack them to death.
How are we doing energy-wise, boys? Zaxis specifically.
I'm fading a bit, not gonna lie.
Fading a bit? Okay. Tell you what. Let's go ahead and run this ship combat, because I kind of want to get into some action tonight. So let's go ahead and run the ship combat, and then at the end of that, if you're feeling like you need to tap out, we'll go ahead and end it after the ship combat.
What's the damage on this kind of stuff?
You can look it up in the document. I'll let you go ahead and do that on. Yeah, you guys can go ahead and just look at those in the PDF. So we'll go ahead and skip because I know Zach is running out of energy. It's currently like almost 1 o'clock in the morning there.
Correct.
Yeah, it is 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'll say that it takes you kind of burn the midnight oil, Barry. I don't know. Is there exhaustion in this game?
You're the DM, you tell me.
I mean, I'm trying to remember. Again, it's like
There's
a lot
system strain.
Yeah, I'll say go ahead and roll me a D4, Barry. What's your HP?
4.
Sorry, what's your Constitution? My bad.
I think it's like 11 or something.
That
Let me
represents how many
check.
points of system strain that you can have. So go ahead and roll me a D. We'll say it's a D6.
It's 9.
Gotcha. All right, so that's not too bad. Roll me a D6.
Okay. 6.
You take shit. Unfortunate. You take
Yeah.
6. You take 6 points of system strain.
Hell.
Yeah.
So what does system strain do?
System strain is
Is
essentially-
that just a build up to a threshold?
Yes,
Or...
it is a build up to a threshold.
Okay,
Once you
so
hit
it
your
shouldn't
max,
really
you can no
affect
longer
anything.
add more to that.
Yeah.
That system strain.
And
If anything you try to will just not work.
bad things happen to you is gonna be my my rule on top of this. Real quick, I'm gonna make a bathroom break before we go into this, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So you guys are basically arming up. You guys are getting your armor equipped, your flight suits equipped. Everybody's like locking and loading in the Shoko. Cut to a friggin' cool like lock and load scene. You guys are like readying the guns. The engines are firing up. Cut to danger zone. Fucking full Tom Cruise Top Gun moment. And while that montage is playing in your mind, I'm gonna go back. Things are gearing up. You guys beneath the anvil, currently locking and loading, getting guns ready. Now is the time that I want you guys to sort out what role you are going to play on the ship. So what department you are going to man. We practiced a little bit of combat before. Zach, Matthew, and I kind of ran some ship combat, but this is probably new to you, Joshua and Gabe. So basically, there are different departments on the ship. You're probably going to want to look at your PDF for this. The goal is to generate, CP, command points, that you can spend on your turn to either fire guns, take evasive maneuvers, or fix up the ship. Basically, anything that you can think of.
And I did send the page number that has those ship combat roles on it, by the way.
Cool. Did I link the Shoko 2 to you guys? Can you guys see it?
No.
Okay.
I have the loaded up.
I'm going to go ahead and post it to you guys now. That should link you to a page that shows you your starship abilities. You guys have Sulk. Sulk could pretty easily gun if you guys don't have, because I was planning on having Josh fill the role as your only military martial class. But you can definitely put Sulk in the guns if you want to. And Lana is a capable engineer. It looks like you guys have enough people who can fix stuff, but that's sort of Lana's specialty. So you can put those guys wherever you need them.
Yeah, the only problem with Franny is she's no good things for any of this stuff except maybe lead, and that's command.
That works, because honestly, when we were in the test, I planned on putting Lansing largely in charge of bridge actions.
Of course, yeah, you're the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would be the bridge for sure.
And who has Gabe has intelligence program?
Yeah, Gabe is going to be in
Okay.
comms.
Yep.
Bear is going to be in comms.
That's my place.
You can double. Do you have any,
Joshua.
Josh? Yeah. Do you have any? Do you have any ability in shooting at all?
Nope.
Because there's 2 guns, and the same person can't shoot 2 guns. They can only shoot 1 gun at a time.
I'm guessing you also
What's
don't
the-
have fix, right, Joshua?
Nope.
So normally this
We're
is
in the
where
same boat.
Brutus, Josh's character, would come in. Great, but he gone. So you guys are gonna have to make do with what you got. You can put. So Lana, probably you're gonna want her in engineering, and then you. Yeah, what's up?
Sorry. Actually,
No,
keep
go
going.
for it. Do you have any
I
questions?
realized that you sent. I finally found the page with all the guns and whatever. I was like, do they have this? And I was like, wait, no, you already sent us what they have at this place. So I just have to pull it up.
Yeah. You guys
So
should
since
have
there's-
a multifocal laser and also a sand thrower, I believe, which is like a Gatling gun, space shotgun.
There's 5 stations, 6 people on the ship.
Yeah.
And each station needs to take an action. But if there's multiple people in a station, can the other person in that station take a different action? Or is it just the entire department at once?
Yeah, you can take unless there are actions that say you can only the department can only take this action this turn, like do your duty, which just generates a command point or above and beyond. Then yeah, you can take as many actions as you have command points for and hands to take those actions. So you're probably
Gotcha, but
you're probably gonna want to
Joshua-
double up on guns. You're gonna want 2 people on guns because you need a person for each gun. And then you're probably gonna want to put just 1 person in each other department.
Okay.
I rolled it, guys. With no experience.
It's all good.
Okay. So am I playing captain this time again?
You certainly can. It's up to you guys.
Okay, I suppose that's something we chat with each other about.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Before the Tom Cruise Top Gun scene, you guys would definitely have sorted this out.
Josh and I really. Who wants to be captain? Neither
Wait,
of us
so-
have great skills and everything else. Neither of us can shoot enough
cool.
sticks. Neither of us can pilot or program.
Yeah, you 100% have to have Barry and comms for this to work. And Lansing, because he's the
Wait.
only one with a positive piloting score, probably should also fly the ship.
Joshua, do you have what's your dex score?
18.
You
Damn.
can probably shoot. You have
Yeah.
you probably have a -1 to shoot instead of a -2 like me. Because you have 1 and you have +2 in dex.
His plus
Yep.
2
No,
index,
+1.
which means he would have a +1 to shoot.
Yeah. So yeah, you have +1. Yeah, you should shoot. If we're doing min-maxing.
Sure.
Sorry, I don't mean to just throw you into
Maxing.
something, but you're the only.
I was
other one.
again. I said I was gonna shoot with no experience. I already stated it.
Oh, you did. Sorry.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so we'll have Miss Fran Diplomat command this thing. This is gonna go well.
Oh yeah. Okay, Matthew. And I want one of you guys commanding because that makes it more interesting. I don't want to be running.
Okay.
I don't want to be running
We're
the
just
whole.
fighting one ship. That should be.
Well,
As far as you know, you're fighting one ship.
we don't know that.
Quickly making notes.
Compromise the agent. Compromise an agent. You guys got many. Y'all like, let's fight. With a broken rudder.
There is a solution. There is a take a crew loss and don't take damage.
Um,
Take
So-
a crew loss.
Crew
All right,
loss.
Barry, you're up.
No.
Take a crew loss and
No.
you get
What a
more command
ideal
points.
it-
I don't
point.
have. I only have one command. I only have one lead. I have 0 lead anyway, so it only give me 1 command point. So there'd be no point doing that.
Oh. So
I'm still trying to figure out how this system works.
I Elric would go to Lansing at this point and say, "What are the complications of not having a rudder in a battle like this? Tell me what they are, please. I'd like to know what I'm getting into."
Well, the short version, we are VFR.
VFR. Explain, break-
It's an old Earth term. Essentially, we're flying as best we can see. We don't have the algorithms we need to make the kind of long-range or predictive maneuvers I'm used to.
You would know, Lansing, that basically what they've suggested so far is in atmosphere combat. So you don't necessarily need to use the rudder. You're not going to be doing any spike drills yet. So when you're taking out the Ganymeds, when you're doing the dogfight, it's going to be in atmosphere or low atmosphere.
Oh, cool. I was thinking we were potentially going to be breaching atmosphere.
Yeah, it might be a little bit in space, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be within meta-dimensional space. You're not going to
Okay, cool.
You're not going to make a drill yet.
Very nice.
So basically, he would have told you that, Elric. Not in. Yeah, I'll let you say it in your own words, Zach.
Yeah, long and the short of it, missing a rudder as far out as we'll be fighting shouldn't be an issue.
Glad to hear it. I'll take the guns.
You hear
More guns.
You hear Lana over the comm saying, "All right, Grandpa, let's get this hunk of junk up and running."
Waiting on you, passenger princess.
The engines are ready to go.
All right, everybody ready? Strapped in.
Everybody bring their barf bags.
I have some medicine for air sickness if we need it.
Keep an eye on Barry.
I'll do my best.
Francis, you know how to check for a pulse if he falls over, right?
Of course. I can do all sorts of medical things.
Okay, good enough for me.
And I guess for the moment, I'm commanding the ship.
Lansing, so the dome, the giant black dome opens up again like a beautiful desert flower. And you can see the open sky of Mazaalai in the distance at this time of the morning. You're essentially just waiting for the go-ahead. The engines are all ready to go, rearing to go. You're just waiting for the go-ahead of when the Ganymedes have been sighted to go ahead and take one down.
Yep, and Lansing, as we're kind of getting ready for takeoff, has a moment of calm, and then just you see him almost like bouncing in his seat. He's so excited.
You guys sit. That's great. You guys sit there for a while until like you guys are all like tense. Everybody is kind of breathing heavy. The tension's high, and it almost reaches to the point where there's a lull, and then you hear the command to go ahead from one of Avenza's intelligence officers. You hear the go ahead on the comms to you, Lansing. They're like, Ganymede spotted. Lansing Greer, initiate takeoff.
Roger that. Shoko out.
the engines roar to life beneath you guys, and the hull of the ship begins to shake a little bit as just the sheer force of the kinetic energy being unleashed from the thrusters begins to sort of cause an effect between the ground this close and the ship, and you feel it slowly begin to pick up off the ground before the engines rotate towards forward positions, and all of a sudden the ship just accelerates. You feel you're pushed back into your seats as the G forces basically begin crushing down on your upper body, and sort of like do the funny effect where it flattens out your face for a second before you're getting used to the acceleration, and the Shoko is off, tearing through the atmosphere.
As we're flying, Barry, if you could try to give us a protective cover sensor ghost, just a little something on the sensors that we're not super obvious.
Oh, yes. So you guys are trying to be stealthy. Go ahead, and this wouldn't be combat. This is outside of combat. So you guys are trying to cloak yourselves. What is that? You're trying to remain undetected. Where is that spaceship detection? Okay. So
Fly under the radar.
This is like deep space, though.
yeah, they're gonna go ahead and try to see if they can pick up on. Let's see.
Yeah.
So
Win an opposed intelligence program skill
Gotcha.
against the ship's comms officer. Which
So, yeah.
would be Barry, I assume.
you're the comms officer. Go ahead and roll a program check and add your intelligence modifier to it to try to remain
Wait.
undetected.
This is
Gabe.
for, wait, is this sensor ghost that I'm doing?
No, this is
or-
not sensor ghost. This is not an in-combat thing. This is hiding and
Oh,
seeking.
okay.
So this has to do, you can read about the rules of hiding and seeking on page 112. Sensors and detection. So basically, this is you just
I'll
passively...
put the pertinent one in the chat.
Yes.
112, let's see. Hiding and seeking, blah, blah, blah. Here, I'll just make the roll and then I'll read later. So, opposed programming check. Okay, I rolled a... Okay, plus intelligence, plus programming, so that's going to be 13?
13.
Nice.
That beats the hell out of their passive sensors. Yeah. So you go to work just basically dampening signals, and trying to basically like reduce your signature. There is some degree of, it seems like there are some degree of like heat dampening measures taken in place on the ship that basically reduce the signature of the ship. And you're able to bring those down, basically bring the ship into stealth mode so that you are transmitting as little as possible.
Great work, Barry. We're barely visible on the radar.
It is now Lansing that you can see, and you would also see the detection of two flying crafts in the distance, sort of doing a wide sweeping surveillance arc. You're picking them up on the radar. It doesn't seem as if they have detected you yet. You've gotten the drop on them. So as you begin approaching very quickly, you see the dots approaching your craft very quickly, and it's not long before you can physically see them from the cockpit. Lansing, you can see the two craft, just two long silvery needle-looking specks on the horizon, but moving very quickly. You guys can go ahead and roll initiative at advantage because you basically got the drop on these guys. Okay, so go ahead and roll initiative. You can add your piloting skill. You can add your dexterity or intelligence, and then you also get to add the ship's speed, which is 3. Go ahead and roll a d8. Roll a d8, and it should be, I think, plus 5 is what we had it before, right?
I believe so.
And you can roll at
Ship's speed
advantage.
is 3.
So roll 2 d8s and take the higher of the two.
Okay. I've rolled 2 4s.
Okay. So that'd be a total of what? Initiative 9?
So I've got my pilot, bump it up to a 5. My int is a 0.
What's your dex?
Dex is a 1.
Okay, you can add the dex. So it'd be your
Alright.
dex plus your pilot skill, so that's plus 2, and then the
6.
speed of the ship is 3, so it should be plus 5. So it should be a 9.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go ahead and roll for the Ganymedes. They're pretty quick. So one of them also got a 9. Fortunately, PCs win ties, so you beat him out. The other one rolled a 10. So you've got one that goes before you and one that moves after.
as last time.
Yep. Same as last time. You know what?
Break up
You know
their
what?
turns.
I'm gonna go ahead and DM rule it and say that they didn't detect you on their sensors, so I'm just gonna say you guys go first. Because there's no way that they would know where you're coming from until you start shooting at them. So you see these guys. You see these guys narrowing in on the horizon, and it's not long before you're right behind them, lancing and tailing them. So command, go ahead and dictate order of operations, order of
Okay,
departments.
does everyone understand the system yet? First.
There's
I
like a
kinda get it.
So basically, each turn, each round, I'm going to assign the order, and we're going. All the other roles, the other departments are going to try to generate points and use them however they see fit, but we'll prefer to use them for the last one. Whichever one is last, we'll try to save the most points for, and generate the most points for.
Right.
And combat points get rid of every round. At the end of every round, we get rid of the command points, so we can't save them.
wait.
We kind of have to make
do
the
we
most of
currently
every
have
turn.
anyone on telecoms like speaking?
You are all
communications is
wired into each
there.
other. If you're talking about like communication within the ship, you guys are all on like a local.
Oh no, I meant like communication
No.
with the other ship, saying drop your rudder and leave the area.
Yeah, the comms
everybody
actions,
Try
you mean?
that,
Yeah,
but
you could try talking to them if you want to.
I think that would be
don't
like
think it'll
a.
work, though.
I don't think that would be a comms action, because like.
That'd be a diplomat action, which we're not going for right now. And then if you want to,
I'd
just
say it's a free
help
action
the
if you want to
ship-
reach out and talk to them. I'd say it's free. If you have their, yeah, you can page them. You can be like, hey.
Is that something that we're doing?
You're currently using the dampener, I would
No,
assume.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're currently using the dampener. Everything's garbled
We
at the moment.
assume they're hostile, right?
Oh yeah.
I assume they're hostile. Franny assumes they're hostile. She knows combat. This is not gonna go prettily. She knows this.
Isn't Franny?
I'm gonna say she's seen a lot of stuff. She's gonna say over the comms, get ready for combat, everyone. This is gonna get ugly. I pray we all get through this.
Are these ships that is the ship that we're about to like attack, are these like known for being very like hostile?
I mean, they're fighter jets. Yeah, their whole thing
Okay.
is that they're sweeping
Yeah,
to see if there are any sand rats on their border. And it's not to offer them cake and crumpets, cake and tea.
Okay.
It's to blow them
I'm
away
trying to
with
see how many people
guns.
die
So
from these things.
they aren't pussies. There's pretty much no point in contacting them.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Let's blow them out of the wall, the sky.
So if someone in their department just wants to help the ship, they can do their duty. That generates 1. If they want to do more than that, they can do above and beyond and generate 2.
Yeah,
you have to roll above a 9.
Yeah, and
With any skill and attribute you want.
And my rule for that, going above and beyond, so you're not just milking the same talent that you're good at, like every single turn and getting extra command points, is that you can only do one certain skill check. You can't do it twice in a row. So basically, if I was like I'm gonna go above and beyond and use my expert programming skills to muddle their communications and make it so that they are like worse at taking evasive maneuvers, like I would only let you do that once, and then you would have to come up with a different skill check next round, and you have to come up with something that would plausibly help your crew. So you have to, the narrative aspect of that is that you have to say what the skill check would be doing to assist you with whatever it is the crew is trying to accomplish.
Also,
Short version is it's combat, but it's very role play heavy combat.
Yes. What's up, Josh?
Yes, extremely.
Joshua?
So, do we know if our dampener is affecting their internal ship comms?
You assume it is. You have no fucking clue.
hope
You
it is.
you just
Yeah.
you heard that Barry could do the job, and you hope his little device is doing it.
So that's
I
currently
think
off.
that it probably only jams the connection between them and like outside.
Unless you explain
Okay.
that, got total faith in you. They can't talk to each other. Pizza cake. Let's do this.
Barry, you would know, so because you made it, you would know that the nature of this little additional device that you've hardwired into messing with the Sensa Ganymede comms, it basically scrambles everything in the area. You're all on pretty similar wavelengths.
We also
Yeah,
cannot
right.
communicate back to.
You guys can understand each other, but the static is noticeable. I'll say that they're on probably a different radio, and it's because like Barry is so familiar with Sensa like radio frequencies that he knows the one that they're probably on and is scrambling the whole range.
Gotcha.
But it's also having an
Alright.
effect on you guys as well.
Let's get into this then. I'll go first. Comms engineering bridge, and then gunnery.
Okay, what are you doing on your captain's actions?
I will. Franny runs to gunnery and sees how she can help there in any way. I'm going to support gunnery.
Gotcha.
Whether just pointing out targets or being helpful.
For sure.
In any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So I believe I said comms up next.
Yep. Yeah, comms, it's your go. So that's going to be you, Barry.
Okay, so would you consider my active presence of watching over the state of, like,
The dampeners, the comms dampeners?
yeah, would that be a do your duty, or would that?
Depends. You could push it either way.
Well, I think that because like, I think that would probably fall under do your duty, because that's kind of like my whole job.
Yeah, I would say that you can just do
That's-
your duty and continue dampening the comms.
All right, so that's a command point generated. Yay.
Sure. Okay. So comms generates the command point. You are continuing to dampen their signals. You're pretty sure that nothing's getting through. You're sort of listening onto the frequency that you know they're probably communicating on. They don't seem to detect you. They just notice, like, you hear a little garbled speech, like, I don't know. I can't hear you. Are you alright? Yeah, total Charlie Brown parents moment. Okay, who's up next, Matthew?
That would be engineering.
Engineering. Okay, Lana is gonna go ahead and just do her duty as well. Generate a point.
2 points generated.
Yeah, Lana just calls up. Everything
next
looks
up-
good down here. We haven't taken any hits yet, so yep, I'm just on standby.
Good job, everyone. Bridge actions next. Be Lansing.
Yes, indeed. So Lansing,
We have 2
I'm-
so far, and I'm supporting gunnery.
okay, you're supporting gunnery. We're 2 so far. In that case, I'm just gonna go ahead and do my duty.
Tight.
Just keep eyes forward, stay alert.
Yep, you begin
Okay,
lining up
keep
the
us flying.
Yep, you begin lining up the ship so that Guns has a good bead. You're just trying to get into a good position where Guns are able to get a good shot on them. All right. Do your duty. So that's
Next up, gunnery.
3 command points, and gunnery is supported, so they essentially have 5 command
And-
points to use.
Yeah, so 5 command points for gunnery. And that's Joshua and the Mr.
Sulk.
Sulky man.
Yes.
Sulky man.
All right. It's up to you. You got 5 points.
The quote unquote stand-in captain is in the room with us currently, right? Franny
Yep,
is
she's just
here
standing
supporting.
behind you, looking through your radars or helping in any way she can.
Yep, and then you also have Sulk on one of the guns. So basically, you choose which gun you want to shoot, which one you want to roll for, and you have Sulk roll for the other.
Okay. Where are... Sorry, I'm having a little trouble finding the options between our weaponry currently.
I'm gonna
You have a
throw it in the
multifocal
chat
laser.
real quick.
You have a multifocal laser and a sand thrower.
So does the on the first part of our initiative, do we start with any command points, or is it
You
all
do not.
generated?
Yeah, it is all generated.
generated. So we've generated 3, and I'm supporting gunnery for 2.
I see. So commanding is a very important role.
It is.
You want to get all the useless motherfuckers out of the way, and then everyone
Well,
at the end is the one.
kind of.
So
But
you can.
if you guys can veto my power if you just want
Plus
to use
3.
the points for something else.
So
So
you-
that plus 3 is based on your skill though. So it'd be a
Yeah. Oh.
+1, whichever one you choose would be a plus. What would you
So
say,
plus
1, right?
You can fire
Plus
all
one, plus three.
guns and then fire guns once, or you could try to gun for one of their systems by targeting a system, and then hitting it
Which
with.
is harder.
It is harder. It makes it harder to hit, but you can take out one of their guns if you want to.
What is Joshua's plus to hit?
Plus to hit, I believe it's 1 because he's got +2 to Dex and he's got a 0 in shoot skill. So that means.
Joshua, which gun did you want to shoot? The multifocal laser just shoots once. The sand thrower you roll at advantage, and then roll the damage at advantage as well.
But you can't target with the sand thrower, can you?
You can.
But it doesn't have
It's
armor.
not doesn't have armor piercing, so it's much harder to. Yeah, the one that you want to target something with is the multifocal laser.
All right.
Hmm.
All right. I will take. We've got them at their. We're at their backs, correct?
Yep, you're at their backs. You can just plug away at them if you want to.
Any suggestions? I call back to Francine or Franny.
For which gun you should be on?
Oh no, for what to target.
Oh, you're gonna target a system? Which gun are you on? I need to know so I can change your
Laser.
plus to hit.
Multifocal laser.
You're on the laser? Okay.
Yep.
We
want them
well,
down,
we
though.
don't want to get shot, so maybe we should target their weapons.
Targeting weapons.
I'm not sure if they have multiple, but looks like they each have one.
Target their
Target
rudder.
Target the rudder.
The rudder's in the cockpit.
Where is the rudder?
It's in the cockpit.
Now
The
that we-
rudder's very
in
hidden.
the cockpit.
Yeah, rudder is just it's like an archaic term that was adopted from like it doesn't it's not a physical on the back of the ship like an old like galley or
Okay,
something.
so Joshua, you're gonna use my.
I'm going to target.
You're
weapons.
targeting systems and you're using fire one weapon.
You have to.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's 3 command
using
points?
Up 3 points.
Yep.
So that's my 2 plus the 1.
Okay, so go
Right,
ahead and
and
you would
I
roll.
roll
If you're the
d20.
one who's shooting that, you can have Sulk shoot it, or you can shoot it. So if
What's,
you shoot it, it would be like a
how-
negative. It'd be like a -3. If Sulk shoots it, he's got a +2 to hit, so it would be a -2.
Oh, Commander, if you could do the honors.
Yeah, go ahead and roll for him though.
The
You're
smoke is on that.
yeah, you're welcome to roll for him though, Joshua, if you'd like to. So go ahead and roll a
Sure.
There.
D20 and
Plus one.
subtract 2.
You guys prefer I roll on a specific app or?
Whatever you want, man.
Oh, he doesn't have dice. Yeah, I just
Mm-hmm.
roll something on something.
On D&D Beyond it is.
Curse crossover.
D20 minus 2.
Well, this is for Sulk, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a 2 minus, or that's a 2 plus 2. It goes wide.
Super wide.
2 minus 2? Yeah, for sure. So you try to get the lock on them. They essentially it seems like whatever you're doing to jam their communication system still hasn't messed with their HUD enough so that they know that when there's an infrared laser that sort of tracks on them before the weapon system fires, and their systems are sensitive enough to pick up the fact that they're being targeted. So you watch as Sulk begins narrowing in with the multifocal laser. The Ganymede picks up that it's being targeted, and it quickly does evasive maneuver, jerking up towards the sky, and the laser fires off into the distance, disappearing on the horizon. They now know that you're here.
Yep.
Okay.
2 more command points if you want to fire your other weapon, Joshua.
Yeah.
Here, I'll fire the other weapon.
You can shoot the multifocal laser again if you want to, or you can shoot the sand thrower if you want to.
Multifocal laser again.
Okay, so go ahead and roll that with...
plus 2.
Yeah, if Sulk's on that, go ahead and roll it with a +2 to hit.
That's all of our command points.
That's 15.
15 does hit, yeah. Go ahead and roll a d4. +1 for his shooting skill.
That's 3. points of
3.
damage.
Yeah, that's a good hit. So on the second one, you sort of Lansing, you begin to pull up on the control stick, and you feel as the Shoko begins pitching in pursuit of the two Ganymedes that are now ascending into the sky. Sulk goes ahead and relines up the laser, pulls the trigger, and you watch as a beam cuts through the atmosphere, and the Ganymede's one of his wings erupts in flame, as you seem to have taken a pretty nasty hit to them. You hear Lana.
I forget how pretty the fireworks in Atmo can be.
You hear Lana over comms. Nice shot, big bro.
Very good, everyone. Prepare for evasive maneuvers, even though we can't.
Okay, your turns are up.
Even though we can't.
Your turns are up. The Ganymedes are going to take their turn. Both of them try to peel off in different directions to try to get around to where they're able to shoot at you. The first Ganymede is going to, I believe they just have 4 flat points at their disposal. One of them is going to try... Yeah, no, I think they're just both going to shoot at you. So they're going to go ahead and take their turns to shoot all weapons at you. So the first one's a 17 with a multifocal laser.
Yep.
Multifocal laser is going to shoot again. I'll just do them all in one shot. Next one is a 16 to hit. So that's 2 hits with a multifocal laser. High AP on this one, so your armor doesn't stop anything. Wow, 4 on the die, so 5 on the first shot.
Okay.
And 3 on the next shot.
Okay.
So that's
First,
8 points of damage coming at you.
I'll take that.
Okay, you guys are taken?
Yep.
All right, your HP
Down
goes
12.
down to 12 from 20 to 12. That was a nasty hit. So you feel the Shoko begin to shake, and like sort of the cabin begins to heat up as one of their guns fires. The multifocal laser scores a direct hit on the chassis. Lansing, you can feel the drag as parts of the ship begin to blow away and are being basically torn up by the atmosphere as they snag. These free pieces that have been blown away by the laser begin to snag and sort of tear away from the body of the Shoko.
You know, I give Lana a lot of shit, but we still need to be flying a ship up here, guys.
Yeah, Lana screams over the comm. She's like, "What are you doing to my baby?" All right, with that, the other one's gonna shoot its sand thrower at you guys. Bang, bang, bang. Oh shit, that's a 19 to hit. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Lana.
That's an 18 to hit. Oh my god.
Oh no.
TPK first episode.
Oh, man.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
we might want to do. This is kind of bad. We might want to do just a 180.
Oh, I'm
You rolled
so
as you did during
sorry.
the practice fight.
Yeah, for
I'm
real.
so sorry. I've just been
Okay,
rolling. I
give me
cannot.
those
I haven't rolled beneath a 15.
Give me those damages.
All right, so the first one is going to hit with 6 points of damage, but you do have armor for this, so you
Reduced to
take off.
2, Reduced to 4.
Yeah, reduced to 4.
Okay, and then the second hit. Is that
Second-
just one, is that all one hit?
Yeah, that's 1 hit. So reduced to 4, or the next one is going to be 6 on the die. So it's going to be reduced again to 4.
4 other way.
Yeah. So 8
for
more points
one
of damage
them,
coming your way.
Doesn't really matter. I'll take keeping it together. Keep it together. One of those hits.
Gotcha. So you're going to go
One.
ahead and roll a crisis. What's 1?
Yep. 1. Armor loss.
Armor loss.
So we have 1 armor now.
Oh,
So you hear these clouds of clouds of dense matter begin to pellet the ship as a salvo of shots begin to rivet through the interior of the ship. You can hear it sounds just like you're trying to drive through like a hailstorm, fly through a hailstorm, as these pellets are bouncing off and beginning to like start to compromise the ship pretty bad. You see a chunk in your on like your cameras, Lansing. You look up and see a chunk of armor go flying off of the Shoko and just hurtle towards the ground.
I think it's 180 time. We just got hit down to 4 health points, right?
No, you guys
You
are
have
at
8.
Yeah, you guys are 8.
Because keeping
Yeah,
it
we
together
should. We
nullifies one
shouldn't.
successful enemy hit.
If we took down one
This
in
went
the first.
pear-shaped fast.
Yeah, I did.
All right. So that's okay. You guys have time to figure things out. All right. It's gonna be your turn.
Captain.
Okay. I'll go first. Comms. Well, I'll go first. Comms. Gunnery bridge. Or gunnery engineering bridge. If we're gonna
Gunner
run.
engineering bridge.
If we're gonna run.
All right.
I'm gonna say, let's try to lose at least one of them. Maybe we'll fly into space a bit. See who chases us. And
With
I'm
this
gonna
many
support
holes,
Bridge.
you think we're space worthy?
I mean, mechanically,
We'll see.
you are.
How close are we to the anti-air guns?
This is far
Pretty
enough
far.
out. You guys are far enough out into the northern wastes that you're not within the capital's anti-aircraft guns.
Do we know about
Okay.
any?
Well, is there anywhere else to? Is there anywhere else for us to fly?
You can
Up.
fly back into the wastes.
Up.
Well, aren't these ships like specifically designed to find us?
Yelp. They now know where you are.
Hey, we're kind of boned. Not gonna lie.
Like no matter where
Yeah.
we go.
Okay, so I will support Bridge.
I will say that one of the Ganymedes is smoking pretty bad. It looks like with that laser shot that you took on it, it looks like it can't take any more damage or it's gonna blow apart.
It might be worth it just for us to try and blow up that one ship and then fly away.
And then come back for the. But they'll recover before we can even get back.
How smoking is our
We might have
ship?
to. We have to fly away. It's
You're
bad.
on 8 HP. You guys are like,
Yeah.
We can die on a bad turn. We're dead.
Yeah, if we fly away, if we
Right.
get far enough away, we can heal a little bit and then come back and try again,
They can track us.
or something like that. They can track us, but what if we're faster?
Are you saying what if we're faster?
Yeah, engineering can boost us, and we can escape combat if we get super high combat points.
I will also say that
Well, if it
escape is
gets
pretty
shot to
tough. It's a 4 escaping combat is a 4 CP roll, and you have to do it successfully 3 times.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not trying to necessarily escape combat. I'm trying to fly
Well, we
away
can't
from
heal.
combat.
If
That's called
flying
escaping.
away isn't gonna work, we should just stand our ground. If we have better chances of standing our ground, then stand our ground. I feel like we have pretty low chances of getting out of this unscathed anyways.
Also, I will call your attention to the fact that engineering can fix damage. They can repair damage.
Oh yes.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Oh, wait, that's-
Okay, so let's do.
Put
what,
our
you
faith
wanna
in
fire
Lana
one
and
weapon.
shoot.
Fire one weapon. Try to generate 5 command points. Do damage control. And
Or
do
emergency
damage control and emergency repairs and fire weapons once. Okay, so I'll support engineering to make that. No, I'll support gunnery to make that cheaper, so we can fire one weapon guaranteed. And that's my turn. And we'll go comms, bridge, gunnery, engineering.
For the ship that was hit, which weapon did it use?
It used. I'll
It
say
shot
that
a multifocal.
that was the
oh, yeah,
multifocal
sorry.
laser. Yes, the multifocal laser.
It shot
So we-
multiple lasers twice.
So it has more than one weapon.
No, it
So
fired
we
the
just
same.
shot one weapon twice.
Yeah, it shot one weapon twice. So the way that the NPCs go, especially when they're fighters, so there's no other. They don't have a crew like you guys do. They just get an automatic 4 command points and get to just spend them however they want to.
They just shot
Okay,
twice.
So we didn't damage a weapon system enough.
You didn't damage a weapon
system, No.
You damaged the ship, and it's smoking.
We failed target systems pretty hard,
Yeah.
and we're only able to fire
we
one
didn't do
weapon
that
at a
twice?
time.
Oh, okay.
But you
only
don't
did
need
that
to
once.
target systems when you make the whole fucking thing go boom.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Okay, so that's what we'll do, and I'm done. I'm supporting gunnery this turn. Comms up next.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna do my duty. There's not really anything else.
Someone has to do bridge.
Pussy!
Someone has to do
Pussy!
above and beyond for damage control or emergency repairs. Unless gunnery goes first, which
No.
I did have them go first.
Oh, I guess you
To
would.
both
yeah.
shoot a weapon and
Yep,
to both
yeah,
shoot a
I
weapon
see what
and
you're
do
saying.
damage control because I
I
supported
see what you're
gunnery.
saying.
Maybe I should have supported.
The one who has the
engineering.
best chance of going above and beyond is probably Lansing. Because I don't know if I told you this before, Zach, but pilot checks are busted because you get to add your speed to them. Zachy!
So you're up.
Yes.
You're up next. I think did Com just do the duty? Yeah.
Yeah, comms did their duty, so you guys have one.
So now
Yep,
we have
generated.
now we have bridge.
Yep.
We have bridge actions now.
All right, what are we going for?
We're going for emergency repairs and shooting the guns once, maybe, and then we have one command point.
So in order to do that, you
But if-
need to go above and beyond, is what they're saying.
I will do that.
Or just have you both do your duty, and we just heal his turn and not shoot.
Yeah, how much does?
I'm gonna go above and beyond, try to give us a chance to shoot back.
Hell yeah.
Alright.
What are you doing to go above and beyond, Zach? Lansing.
So Lansing is just pulling up every possible readout we have, doing his best to remember everything he's read and experienced about dogfighting Ganymedes, and just trying to get inside their heads.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and roll me a piloting check.
You got it.
2d2s plus
that's-
5.
Right, should be a +5. 2d8s, you mean?
No,
D6s.
d6s.
Okay, you said D2s
Have to beat a
initially, so
9.
I was confused.
You
I
did say
said
D2.
d2s. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired. 2d6s.
Me too. And I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
no.
That's
Okay.
still a...
That's an 8.
Still an 8.
That's an
Nope.
Do you not have expertise in it?
No, I have just 1 rank in pilot.
Shit. Okay,
There goes our command point.
yeah, you guys lose a command point. So you guys are down to...
So now it's gunnery.
Yeah, gunnery.
Sorry, guys. If I didn't roll
So-
like complete garbage.
How many
Yeah.
does gunnery have?
That's fine. You have 2 free points to use.
So you can
Isn't it?
definitely fire one weapon for free.
You can fire one weapon. I would recommend the sandblaster because you can roll advantage.
That is true.
All right.
That's gonna be
Sand
Franny's.
blaster on the
That's gonna be Franny's suggestion. Maybe wrong because it has armor, but it's fine.
Commander, if you will.
He's currently at the multifocal laser, so you would be at the other seat.
Oh!
You can have him get up and move if you want to, but you roll this one at advantage. So it would be your +1, and then you roll 2d20s and take the higher of the
Roll
two.
So high.
Okay.
But you can have him shoot if you'd like him to. If you want to make sure you don't miss.
Yeah. Commander, if you take the helm here, let me look at the laser. If you will.
All right. Yeah, certainly. He jumps over to the sand throwers controls and go ahead and roll 2d20s.
All right.
We missed. We're dead.
First one's a
No
7
pressure.
plus 2, 9.
First one's a what?
A 7 plus 2, 9. The second one.
Roll so high.
He gets +3 to hit.
Oh.
I guess we'll see.
Well, first one was a 10, I guess, total.
Okay.
Second one is, let's see, D&D Beyond don't have me. Yeah, that's a 10 plus 3.
10 plus 3. Their AC, I think. Let me double check. Their AC is a 14. So,
Yep.
yeah. Oh boy, this is going pear-shaped real quick.
We have no command point.
Damn, bad rolls. Bad
Engineering
rolls.
does nothing.
Okay, engine. Right, yeah. Lana's just like,
yeah.
we're in a really tight spot here, Lansing.
We have a crisis. She could deal with crisis.
Oh yeah, she could. Yeah, she's gonna go try to do that.
I'm doing what I can. I'm sorry. We've lost too much ship already.
What happens if you resolve it? I forget.
until resolved, the ship's armor ratings have rounded down. So if
Gotcha.
she resolves it, it just goes back
Yeah,
down.
she's gonna go try to
Two.
fix it. So explain what you're doing. Yeah, I think that's. So she's trying to re-armor the ship.
No, I was doing that damage control. I can do damage control.
Yeah. What's that? Oh,
Yeah.
she can't do damage
I was just
control.
thinking. Yeah, no, I know she can't.
Yeah, so she's
resolving
gonna go
it.
deal with a crisis because that's the only thing she can do. So it's an armor situation. I don't know what she could necessarily do to improve the armor. I'll say that after you guys have you've taken a couple hits, and you're actually starting to like have a compromised hull. She's basically just taking metal pieces and frantically wielding them to the inside of the ship. So I'm gonna go ahead and let her do this roll. Let's see.
Really high.
She's got a really good fixed skill, and she rolled a 6. So it's a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets an 11. Okay. So your AC is
So
fixed.
armor's back up to 2.
Um,
It's gonna help moderately.
yeah, she yells over the comms. This thing is falling apart. Okay,
We're gonna die.
it's gonna be the Ganymede's turns.
Can we quick save before we launch the ship?
No,
Quick save before we launch
no,
the
no,
ship?
no. If it's a TPK at the beginning, it was destined to happen. All right, so the first one's going to go ahead and fire its multifocal laser twice. That's going to be a 13 to hit.
Nope.
Good. The next one is going to be even lower to hit. All of my luck's gone.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's going to be
Very
an
nice.
8 to hit. So misses
Have
with the
mercy.
multifocal laser, which is good. That's good for you guys. The dice.
Nice pilot
You're
bouncing.
you're at the mercy of the dice, my friend. The next one is going to be it's an 18.
Okay.
Okay, flat cannon roars. That's going to be 5 more points of damage, reduced to 3.
Okay.
You guys are riding the fucking lightning.
Okay, so that was 3 damage. Give me
You guys are down to 5 HP. It's gonna go ahead and take another shot with
Well.
a flat cannon. That is going to be only a 13 to hit, so that misses.
Okay, I'll nullify the 5 damage then.
You'll nullify the 5.
I'm taking.
It's only 3. It's only 3.
No, it was only.
Yeah, taking keep it together.
Okay, you're taking to keep it
Any
together
other
for
hit point
3.
We can get.
Okay, this might be worse, but all right, you guys are at HP. Go ahead and you guys are at 8 HP. Go ahead and roll a crisis. Tell me what you get.
Crew loss.
Crew loss. Oh no!
Okay.
All right. Brave crew
All
risk
right,
their
that's
lives. I'm gonna read it to you guys. Brave crew.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yep. Brave crew risk their lives to keep damage systems operating. Describe the danger they face if the crisis is not resolved by the end of the next round. 10% of the ship's maximum crew are incapacitated. Half of these crewmen are dead or permanently disabled. The other half return to duty in a week. So I'm gonna say after this next shot, the ship is shaken with an explosion, and there is a fire in the cabin. And I'll say the person that it's affecting is Lana because she's probably the most disposable. So Lana was in there patching up armor. Suddenly, fire. She ends up getting knocked off of the platform she was standing on to try to fix the interior. She falls to the ground and is pinned under some of the collapsing Shoko as this fire is blazing on the inside of the ship. And if this is not dealt with by the well, bad things will happen if this isn't dealt with. All right. I'm having so much fun. I don't know about you guys. We'll go ahead and that's going to be the end of the Ganymede's turn. It's Shoko 2's turn.
Okay.
Let's see. Fire?
Okay.
Yeah, you hear Lana shout out
Best could help with
over the
that.
comms. She says, "Fire! Fire's in the cabin!"
Okay.
Commander.
I will.
Who can help us with them? A fire?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I mean, are we trying to kill this thing? I don't know what we're doing. I don't think we can. We're gonna die.
I think,
We have 2 people attacking us
Repairing
right
the
now,
hull.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, dealing with one would help a lot, but do we focus
then
all on
firing
guns
full-
and one of us goes to help? One of us just goes to help.
I think that's our
I
best
can-
bet. There's
think
not
I can
really
help
like.
if we
probably
get- If everyone else generates command points, we can fire the weapon. We can fire all guns. If everyone else generates points, and I can go help deal with the crisis. I think that's the best option. So we're gonna go
What do you have
me,
to
comms,
assist
bridge,
with the-
engineering, gunnery.
What were you saying, Joshua?
What do you have to assist with the crisis? If you don't mind me asking.
I have. I mean, is she injured? She's pinned?
She's pinned, but she can do it herself. She can try to save herself, because she's not incapacitated yet. So you could let her do it.
So she can fix herself.
Yeah, you could let her do
fix
it
the
if you
fire
want to.
herself.
But that would be engineering's turn,
Okay.
because she was effectively running
then-
engineering department.
Then
Oh, that's
I'll go
engineering.
first. Comms, bridge, gunnery, engineering. I guess is the way to do it. Although if somebody else needs to help her if she fails, someone else can help her if she does fail.
I can head.
That
I can head to
means-
engineering. I
That's
won't
the
be able to
gunnery
fix
action.
it, but we have commander Sulk. Oh wait, we know. Do we need both
Yeah.
people on both guns to fire all in?
No,
You
but
need-
each department is their own thing. So you are
Joshua,
the
to answer
gunnery
your question, yes, to
department.
fire all guns, you would need both people on both guns.
Okay.
So you can
Alright.
only fire one weapon with one person on guns.
Got you. All right, Commander, you mind if I take flak? I'm. So I'll get on flak.
Yeah. You guys switch places again.
Okay. Gosh, if she fails, we're gonna be in big trouble.
Actually, you know what?
you were to go
Okay,
to-
I totally forgot about this character moment. I was just focusing on the on like the combat. So like
Ding do.
the characters is like you would turn to see you would turn to like ask Sulk something, and you would see that he's already left and running off to go take care of his sister.
Ah, I see.
Lana, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, you forgot. You forgot your sister.
No, I was so like caught up in you guys like working out the mechanics of this fight that I forgot to roleplay for a second.
No, you're good.
But that's 100% what he would do. He would go take care of his sister.
I say,
Yeah.
I'll go, and Sulk is like, sister, sister dearest.
If you're trying to persuade him, go ahead and roll me. You can go ahead and roll me a what would that be? Is there persuasion in this? Talk. It would be a talk check.
It'd be 2 talk, so mine is that's wisdom
Or
wait,
lead.
no, that's
It would be
charisma.
lead or talk, so whichever one you feel more comfortable rolling.
Lead.
Do you have a
So
lead?
-1.
Negative
Wait,
one?
So that'd be charisma, right?
That would be charisma, for sure.
Okay, so -1, right?
Yep, and then -1, I assume you don't have a rank 0 in it?
I do not. So
Okay.
-2.
-2.
So 2d6 -2.
Yep, you'd have to roll real high.
Okay. Let's see what that is. A 7. Goodbye.
7. Nope, that's not. He doesn't hear you at all. He's out the door already. He's running to go.
He
Nice,
lowered-
goodbye.
Could he lower the difficulty of the crisis if he's helping her?
I would say
It
that.
says usually 10 plus or minus 2 depending on the situation.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I would say that his sister being in peril definitely is something that he would be like. He would have. Yeah. I'll reduce it down to 8 because it's him saving his sister, and he has
That's helpful.
every desire to push
Right.
beyond his body's normal limitations to do so.
Then,
And
yeah, what
would
you were
the
saying, you'll
commander
have to,
coming? The commander. Sorry.
Maybe you should
if,
have her go first in case she fails.
If the captain comes to support gunnery, would that allow her to shoot?
Yeah. Yeah. If yeah. You can run around the ship. Like a turn in this is not the 6 seconds of a D&D turn.
Yeah.
It's longer.
Okay,
I'm gonna
so you
have
can-
engineering go first in case she fails.
Okay.
Captain, comms, bridge, gunnery.
Gotcha.
Let's see what engineering's got.
Gotcha. All right. Lana is
Can't deal with
obviously.
10% of our crew being out.
Yeah, Lana's obviously going to try to free herself from the rubble that's pinning her down. She's going to go ahead and deal with the crisis. She does not. She's not very strong. That is a failure. So she's still pinned.
And does what's his commander make it there?
Sulk. Oh yeah, Sulk just makes it there automatically. So he's going to spend his turn to try to help her.
That reduces
Oh,
to an 8.
Yeah.
still didn't work.
I'll say that you can still, although general actions, I'm going to say that, like, deal with a crisis would normally take up the entire gunnery department. I'm going to say that he's acting independently, so he's just going to do his thing. I'll essentially give you a free action if you want to take it, Joshua. You can gun, you can shoot if you want to.
Awesome. And Franny's in gunnery too as the
I'm
supporting.
not yet.
What are you going to?
Yeah, what are you supporting?
Engineering went first.
Ah.
I mean, we have to stop the crisis, right? Like, we can't deal with 10% of us just being out of commission. What is that? 10% of 6?
It's just one
members?
person.
Just this one?
It's just one person.
One person of 6 is like 16%. So at most, Lana.
Yeah.
She'd be out, which means our engineering, which means engineering's completely out.
And 6/10 of the rest of one of you. Yeah, somebody gets 6/10 of their body removed.
Okay. Alright,
Barry
so
doesn't
I
need
guess-
legs, right?
Who's up
I
next?
guess we'll just,
Leg,
I guess we'll just shoot. See, I'll support gunnery.
Okay.
And then
new
move on to
code
comm.
name, the Wheelman.
Okay, who's up next, Com?
Yep, comms.
Okay. Barry, if you're feeling any,
Yeah.
We can shoot. You can shoot once, or you can deal with the crisis. I mean, we can already shoot once because I'm supporting them. So if you want to deal with the crisis, or just generate a point.
you go above and beyond. You can't go into the negative with command points.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, what would I do if I went above and beyond?
You can shoot twice.
You got to come up with what you would do to try to help.
Wait. So
Well, I can't
currently-
shoot twice because wouldn't that be a command point to do that, or 2 command points?
So
If you
how many
went above and
command points
beyond,
do
we generate 2 points, and then we would have 4 command points for weapons. We could fire 1 weapon twice.
What's that, Josh?
Wait, sorry. Say that
Well,
again.
we can just fire both at 3.
But you don't have a second gunner.
Yeah, your other gunner just ran out the door.
Wait, so if the captain is Chase, Franny comes to support guns, are they not in there to also?
That is my action. I cannot be gunnery also. I am captain. I'm not gunnery.
Correct, Matthew. You're rules lawyering yourself.
Thank you.
Uh, I now understand.
So
Okay,
if we have 4 command points, which we'll have anyway, if you both just generate 1.
Okay, I'll generate 1 then.
Let's see.
What I'm
what other
doing-
actions
Generating
can
extra
be
command points
taken?
wouldn't really help us here because engineering's doing deal with crisis. It's going to die.
Okay, wait. So what are you?
It's Bridges' turn. Zach.
It's Bridge's turn. It's Bridge's turn.
Okay.
We're just
Yes,
gonna, I guess we're
indeedy.
just gonna go all in and shoot this thing till it dies.
I will try to go above and beyond again, and this time not roll complete garbage.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Love
can't.
it.
You
Okay.
can't do it in the
I mean-
same skill twice in a row.
Oh yeah. Do you have a different skill?
And we don't really
Besides
need the
fighting?
3rd point.
Oh, well, in that case, never mind.
Sorry,
just...
I don't mean to go on poop on people's party, but we don't really need. the
No,
3rd
you're
point.
good.
It
It's
would go
2
to
in the
waste.
morning. I can hardly think straight.
Fair.
That's fair.
I will do my duty then, and just try to
Okay.
keep us flying in a way that's not burning or shaking off any more pieces than we're already losing.
For sure.
Gunnery.
Hmm.
You can shoot your same weapon twice, a different weapon each. They're both at +1.
I will shoot the flak once.
It's a good
Because
call.
that's all. Wait, do we have 4?
We have 4 command. I'm supporting you, so you get 2 free.
Yeah. So you can shoot the flat cannon twice if you want to, and you get to roll it at advantage, which is pretty nice.
So that's a 16 and a.
That hits.
Okay, 16 hits.
So 2d4.
Very good.
2d4, and you roll that in advantage too, right, Christian?
Yes. Yeah. You so roll 2d4 twice and take the better results.
Okay, so that's a 4 and a. A 4 and a 2. So 6 total.
6 total. I assume you're shooting at the already broken down one.
Yep.
It goes up in flames, and since you're in atmosphere, you would hear it. It erupts behind you in a ball of flames as you hear the sand thrower. You hold onto it, Elric, and you watch sort of like in sort of morbid fascination as this thing goes fireball in the distance
Tango
behind
down.
you.
Hopefully the rudder's still in there.
Or we hit it from behind.
That's true. Yeah, okay, and you can shoot again if you want to.
Let us take a second to pray to RN Jesus.
Wait. So what systems are behind me?
What's behind you? You got another Ganymede on your ass.
No, I meant like what? So we had bridge, we had engineering.
Oh, you're the last to
any
go.
other thing?
You're the last to go. So
Oh,
you
you're the
gotta,
last to go.
Yeah, spend up all these points.
Well,
We set you last because I wanted engineering
back
first.
again.
Yep, roll at advantage.
That's a 15 and a.
This is my rolls.
15 beats. 15 beats.
Is there anything to a natural 20 or is that just?
Oh shit! Did you get a nat 20?
That's
No, I'm
actually
trying to
that's
see, like-
nothing.
Oh, okay. I'm planning on having there be something for a natural 20.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
No, so a 15 is what I got.
Okay. Yeah, that works. So go ahead and take the best of the 2d4s. So roll 2d4s twice and take the
That's,
best total.
Got you. So that's a. Wait, so roll a d4 twice.
Roll 2d4.
2d4
Yeah,
twice.
yeah. So roll 2d4s
Okay.
twice. So roll a d4 once, roll it again, add up the total, and then start a
Okay,
new
so
total.
That's a 3 and a. Okay, so that's a 3 and a 4.
Hell yeah, it is. That's 4 points of damage. So you blow off the wing of this other Ganymede fighter. It is on its last limb. You watch it as it begins taking evasive maneuvers. It peels off and begins plummeting towards the ground. You watch as you begin banking around, lancing after it. You watch as the pilot ejects and the Ganymede goes crashing into the desert below.
Oh, we killed it.
He ejected.
before he died.
He didn't want to go the way of his buddy.
Unlike us, he didn't want to die.
Let us thank RN Jesus for this.
For he is
So
good.
even with armor, we killed it.
He is good.
Yeah, even with armor, yeah, you rolled a 7. So
Joshua, that was so clutch. We almost died.
yeah, you had it on 1 HP, and because I was remembering, like, oh yeah, they need to get a rudder. Also, he just watched his buddy blow up, so he's like, fuck. He wanted to make sure he didn't die, so he didn't stay with the ship. He didn't go down with the ship like his buddy did.
Okay, so there's
Yeah, but I
there's
feel
one on
like
the
we
ground
kind of need to
food, one
make
up,
sure
this
he
one.
dies so they don't get information back.
Probably.
All right, let's target him with a flak cannon.
You see the pilot parachuting towards the ground. You can violate the Geneva Conventions. There's no space Geneva Conventions. Shoot the parachuter.
We could also fly into him.
You
Or that'd
could.
be-
We've got a few options here.
You do.
We've got to. We've
think
got
our
to.
Sandblast.
We need
our
the rudder,
structural-
and we need to get out of here. Shall we?
Did
Agreed.
die? Is Lana on critical state?
Well, we're gonna have to. I need to roll for that still. So I'm gonna go ahead and have Sulk is gonna run through the cabin to go assist his sister. He's grabbing a fire extinguisher off of one of the control panels. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to him. I'm gonna say he can do this. Yeah, he clears it. Not even with a bonus. He just gets a flat 10 on the die. He puts out the fire, picks up his sister, and begins walking her towards the med bay.
Is she damaged?
I'll say she's shaken.
Fran is right there.
Mechanically,
She's right there.
no, but for roleplay aspects, yeah, she looks bad.
Okay.
Her eyes are wide,
Fran's
and-
gonna be there for her.
Gotcha.
All right, well, this jerk nearly cooked my engineer, so I say we violate the Space Geneva Convention.
Fuck yeah.
Franny's no longer in command.
Yeah, so you guys turn towards this parachuting dude. Do you want to blow him out of the sky with the sand gun?
Yes.
Oh, that was so scary.
Time is of the essence. Let us get what we need.
You're right. It'll be faster if we just run him over while we're landing.
Yeah.
do
we.
you aim to hit him with the Shoko?
Absolutely.
Roll me a piloting check. Because this is a little more advanced.
I hope this is the one instance where Lansing rolls really well.
2d6s.
36s, here we go.
Plus speed, plus piloting.
That's more like it, right? Plus the 5.
Yep.
So that is,
That's so
Dude, I can't do math. Hold on.
It's okay.
What'd you
It's
roll?
2 a.m.
13.
15.
Yeah, yeah. You, like, calculate the trajectory. Lansing, you see fucking red, metaphorically, for a moment. And then a couple minutes later, you literally see red as this man just fucking rotten tomato explodes on the cockpit. You guys all feel a boom as the ship sort of rocks, and you're all like, kind of like, oh, that's weird, but sort of shake it off. Lansing, you're traveling so fast.
Give his innards like a cheery wave as he smears across the windshield.
Yeah. Oh, that's so grim and dark. So you're going so fast that nothing really sticks, but
Do I notice what he's done?
probably yes, because you're in gunnery, so you're looking out the gun window. You watched as you would probably see, I imagine the gunnery is just beneath the cockpit. So you would see kind of the parachuter, like you would see the ship bearing down on him. He goes out of vision for a second as it would overshoot from your perspective. And then you just hear a dunk.
Great job, guys.
So yeah.
Mission successful.
You managed to land the ship.
Yet.
You managed to land the ship. I assume you're following the damaged Ganymede down towards the sand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys are able to land, and with communicating with your team, you're able to quickly get out. You see the burning wreckage of the cockpit. Who is going to be trying to salvage the rudder from this?
Well, hold on. Is this a crash that looks like people could have survived from?
The one pilot ejected. So no one's in the crash.
Oh, okay.
The wings are flaming, but the cockpit seems like it's in pretty in pretty good contact.
All right. I think that I have since I have a fixed score, and also Lansing has a.
What would
fixed
this
score.
count as? Would this be?
Actually, I'm thinking more D&D rules. You don't have to roll for this anymore, because it would just be going and retrieving an object, so you don't even need to roll for it.
Yeah.
Just somebody has to go get it.
I'll
Roll
do
for
it.
dumb luck to see if it's destroyed.
Quick.
I know
Being
my
quick
way
about it.
around these ships, so I'm gonna book.
Yeah,
it.
and you got to go back to the cockpit and install it anyway, so it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, Lansing. So even before you land, you're hitting the button to lower the starboard door. You run out, run down the rampart, and just run to the ship. There's lots of interesting aviation things that you would like to examine about this ship, but you just don't have the time. So the cockpit's already forced open because there was an ejection. You jam your fist into the control panel, rip away the rudder. Before you do so, you touch it once to make sure that it's intact. You see the digital map of metadimensional space pop up, so you know it's a good rudder. You rip it out of its place in the command console, book it back to the ship. And without time to even install it, you just toss it into the corner for Lana to put in later. And with that, you turn your thrusters towards the sky and rocket through the atmosphere and out through the stratosphere and into space.
Wait, what? Can we head in space without installing this thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can go into space.
You
We
can't go into
through
metadimensional space.
Metadimensional space, which is warp drive essentially.
Yeah.
Think
And
FTL, Joshua.
It takes
Faster
about
than light travel.
I think it was 16 hours to get to the edge of this solar system. So you guys got a while. Bailing now is a good call.
Yes.
After I calm Lana down, I'm gonna go back and command of the ship and make sure we're all good.
And also, I think this is a good place to end because it's 2 o'clock in the morning and Zach's dead.
It is officially 2 in the morning. I have half a brain cell left.
Hell yeah.
Good
All right,
job,
guys.
Great job.
Excellent first episode. Holy shit, I thought I was going to TPK you guys. First episode in. But you were
Hey,
able
we
to
escaped Mazaalai.
hold it together. You escape Mazaalai, you all get XP. We'll talk about what this means for your characters as the week goes on. But yes, thank you guys for joining us Beyond the Lightless Shores and our Stars Without Number roleplay playthrough. Yeah, I guess I'm going to go ahead and post this. I'll leave the social media stuff. I can edit that in later. But thank you all so much for joining. Hopefully we have our other Josh next week.
No Josh.
The man who chooses to shorten his name.
It's not that it's not that one Joshua is enough. It's that it's not enough.
But we're enough.
We need more. Yeah, I'm Kenough. My God. Need more Joshua. All right, guys. Excellent playthrough. You guys have any questions? I'm gonna go ahead and stop. Hey, space nerds. Thank you so much for tuning into our first episode, which is officially being rebranded our episode 0. I am still pretty new at all of this podcasting stuff, and I may have accidentally used music during our recording that I didn't have the licensure for. Whoops. Live and learn. So, per Spotify and Apple Podcasts terms of use, I will not be posting this first episode on our podcast feeds, but it will be here on YouTube for you to listen to anytime you'd like. Starting next month, I will be more careful when recording to make sure that you can stream Beyond the Lightless Shore from all of your favorite podcasting apps: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and Audible. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider leaving a like and subscribing/following us on Spotify. Until we meet again, Voyager.